happens, to put remote instruction and appropriate remote instruction in place, from day one or day two at the latest.
Well, it's really wonderful to see you, and hopefully we can do a video again soon. Okay?
Bye. Bye.
So if we're going to work on a plan for restoring Brownsville to better than it was before, tell me one thing from each of your respective points of view, and I'll start with you, Dr. Lewis. One thing that has to be a part of that recovery plan.
We have to invest in the brilliance and strategy and resilience of community partners that are there and have been doing work and have survived multiple things before. But that also means we gotta, divest from the things that have harmed and hurt people in Brownsville, all the panic and neglect and the issues. So yes, invest in our dopeness and divest from the things that harm us.
My mantra for all these issues is that we have to get at the root. The pandemic exposed already glaring health disparities that exist. So what we have to do is really dig deep and go to what is the source of why we are affected disproportionately across the board with all of the various diseases. And it's because of neglect, medical apartheid, the racism within the healthcare delivery system, the employment system, the housing system. And we have to name racism, and we have to have race-specific solutions that are grounded in equity. Because if we kind of have a race-blind solution, the health disparities will stay after COVID is gone.
Underlying the racial disparities in health are the kinds of stress and trauma that go with being in poverty or not being able to pay your bills every month, worrying about that, worrying about where you're going to live. Conditions produce stress. Stress produces hypertension, produces diabetes, even cancer. And Black folks have been living in trauma, as Monifa Bendelli said, well before COVID. COVID just brought it out into the news.
The systems that would help us to not have these comorbidities, our health and hospitals, our emotional and wellness systems, our education systems, the employment systems, they have really, really small budgets, right? And we're living in a city where the police budget is $6 billion. And so our budget is a value statement. There has to be a shift in the values of the city so that we're really investing in these systems that we know are going to close those gaps. People are in the streets, people are demanding these investments. And so we need to strike the iron while it's hot.
All over our neighborhoods and all over Brownsville, there exists these kind of small businesses that tend to the mental, physical, and spiritual health of the community, with a small business frame, with ancestral and culturally relevant and respectful techniques. Those folks should be poured into to continue to create an ecosystem versus having to struggle to look at month to month, day to day, the bills of things.
One of the narratives that we believe is that, the person on the white or Black horse isn't coming to save us, right? And so we collectively, myself and a number of community-based organizations, residents included, have decided that we were going to start taking back, some of the ownership. Right now, if we wait for anyone else to do it, it won't get done.
The lived experience of my community, whether it's Bed-Stuy or Brownsville, or just Brooklyn or Black women or Black people, is that what we've seen and felt over the last couple of months is, as Anita was saying, language that didn't really resonate with us, stories and feelings of loss and death. I mean, we could all do more than two hands of people that died. But then all of a sudden we saw all sorts of money come in terms of riot gear. The way we've experienced the budget and the city's priorities has been more kind of in those palpable spaces than the things that we needed just to live.
Just last year, the NYPD paid $70 million in settlement cases. So that's not, to get rid of that number, it's not about laying off people who were hired more recently, but who's committing this abuse that's causing the city $70 million in 1 year? And what kind of things could Anita and her task force do with $70 million a year? Dr. Lewis said that the people of Brownsville already know what they need. They already have the genius, it needs to be scaled up, and they also need to have the power to execute the solutions that they know work for the communities and not be blocked, from a top-down way. So, it's money, but it's also money and self-determination.
What is the prescription for getting Brownsville well on our terms?
Trust Black women, listen to Brownsville genius. It makes sense for folks within power to create the space to hear the voices, to talk about what needs to be done. And it always triggers me a bit when folks are asking for additional labor from people who we've all just said are dealing with all of the inequalities and inequities. And there are folks like the Brooklyn Rapid Recovery and Response Team, BCJC, Combine, the Health and Wellness Table. We're organized. We know we could create the space and invest. You got 3 Black women here who could easily pull together a group of folks to tell you what we need and put some numbers behind it too. But the prescription is to just love each other well and listen and invest in that dopeness.
Welcome to East New York. I'm gonna show you the amazing businesses. Let's go say hi to Miguel, the best hot chocolate in East New York. Vito!
It's not like a customer, it's like a family to me now.
David Travel came to the community with only one little desk, and now he owns the whole building. This is a community of opportunities. Hello! The health of the neighborhood is also places like the Cypress Hill Senior Center. We have a little bit of everything here, and everyone feels like family here. East New York is family to me now.
As per U.S. law, any child bought or sold into the sex trade is a victim of human trafficking.
Why is the first time I'm hearing about this?
On the same websites where you sell a couch, there are sections to buy people.
Really?
And up to half of these victims are boys. There is no such thing as a child prostitute, only a victim of exploitation. And it could be anyone.
She's talking about me. Should I say something?
What's led us to this moment, again, is
everything from Brexit to, again, this new neo-fascist movement that we're living in, to a kind of a conservative policy that constantly threatens the lives of people. We're tired of living in a police state.
I refused to see him die. I did not look at the newspapers in bodegas. I did not look at the news feed on Facebook or even text from friends. At a restaurant, a TV showed a white cop kneeling on a black man's neck, and I left before my food arrived. The video of Officer Derek Chauvin killing George Floyd ripped the scab off of our blackness. Inside, where color connects us, pain throbbed. We just buried our grandparents and friends who died from COVID-19. We just lost our jobs. Maybe the worst was over. I mean, damn, can we catch a break? But no. When I left the bodega, I saw a circle of my neighbors staring at their cell phones, faces twisted in horror. Did you see how they did that, brother? One said. I can't breathe. That's what he said. I can't breathe. Fuck the police. I saw open pain in their eyes, and beneath the mask of street machismo was a deep underground cavern where life's bitterness had pooled. And Floyd's death with a lit match falling in.
I think it's always been the time. I think it's been the time before now to protest. I think that now is the time for the world, actually, to become a participant in this protest, because I think that we're living in a fascist state. People's lives are threatened right now with a virus that disproportionately threatens the lives of African American people. I think that we are participating in a certain way right now because the economy is what it is, and 40 million people are unemployed, and there's an outrage. It's an accumulative rage that happens.
What I've seen over the years, from Sean Bell to Trayvon Martin to Eric Gardner to George Floyd, is that the movement has become increasingly large, very multiracial, and I think that's what's given us a hope, is that we're not alone anymore. That now we actually have, not only it's multi-city, but it's really multinational. Is the reason it's catching on like a wildfire. It's like fire only catches if there's fuel. So there is an underlying pool of discontent, of rage, of frustration that people have been feeling and really been hiding inside their bodies. Like their bodies are like these sponges filled with gasoline. And that gasoline is all of that shame and fear that happens when you're constantly either being surveilled, stopped and frisked. Broken windows policing is basically almost like factory farming people into the criminal justice system. And so all of that has been bottled up in so many people's bodies all across the world. That fuel is really what's causing the explosion.
Attention, quick march, so much. Left turn, right turn, about turn, double up, salute, open your hat, stand it is, no justice! Fall in, fall out, fall down. No peace!
I understand that for dramatic change to happen, I mean, riots and all that stuff have been part of any dramatic change in Western society since forever, since Rome, since Egypt, Like, it's been how society changes. That, along with discourse and along with all the other elements. So I know that it's a part of it, but it's the reasons that can sway it this way or that. The reasons that things pop off. Is it through actual social anger? Is it through some instigating third-party initiative? So I ran up to the front of the groups and I started watching. A white girl on a megaphone, and she obviously was not down with the movement, and she obviously wasn't from New York. And she was just like using the catchphrases BLM, getting the crowd amped, and then she would instigate them to destroy property. And then there was white cats dressed up fully cloaked, and they would have hammers and bust down the windows of stores that we would pass. All the black kids were young kids, Generation Z. They're all being manipulated by these people that were definitely in cahoots with each other because they would discuss and like plan and everything. These white cats that were either anarchists or masquerading as anarchists. The person on the bullhorn would amp everybody up, and then the person with the hammer would go and just initiate the looting or the break-ins with the hammer, just busting down windows, almost indiscriminately.
You tell me my people are free, but that's a lie I've learned to live with. The last time I checked, strangers who share a darker complexion are still overwhelmingly being segregated when it comes to overpopulated prisons, outdated textbooks, over-policed ghettos. And that was the first time I was called a nigger. And I've never felt so much rage in my life. And words don't usually get to me, but maybe transgenerational trauma is real.
There was almost just like a swell in the collective unconscious, I would say, that has gathered everybody into focusing collectively on this thing, you know, as of like, 2 weeks ago or so, and almost with continuous momentum up to this point. The whole experience for me has been transformative because I have always located my activism exclusively in my art. Something about this just felt like it is definitely the time to do this in the same spirit of enough is enough, and also like some sort of deep, like, collective unconscious tug on the heart and mind that made it feel important to be present, which I think, so many people are feeling.
Mama, can't you see? Mama, can't you see? What the system's done to me? What the system's done to me? They keep on shooting us down. They keep on shooting us down. No, you can't hold us to the ground. You can't hold us to the ground.
I was born in Bed-Stuy. I consider this my neighborhood, my community. I'm very protective of it. So when I found out there was a protest going on in Bed-Stuy, I was like, who is putting this together? Bed-Stuy is being violently gentrified, violently colonized. So I just wanted to know, like, who was doing this and what made them decide to do it here. Found out it was December 12th movement, which is a long-standing Black-led community organization. They're the OGs, and they've been actually doing marches and protests every week before all of this. They were doing protests and marches and, stand-ins way before George Floyd, way before all of this. And that gave me the confidence to know that I could be involved with this specific action and feel, secure, that it wasn't going to be no messy stuff. I feel like when it comes to engaging in action, you want to know who's organizing it. You want to know what the purpose is. You want to know what the end goal is, what route people are taking. I wonder if people are getting that type of security training that is required to be in a space with thousands of people resisting, pushing back against systematic violence. It's sometimes met with violence. Sometimes people just need to be prepared for that.
Be safe, be healthy, be strong, and be revolutionary.
Free ourselves from mental slavery. Never falling for false security. I wanna see ahead. I wanna grow further. Open my eyes and fight the good fight.
There's that old saying that to a hammer, every problem, looks like a nail. It's about how police were incentivized through the drug war to continue really hammering down on low-level drug offenses and then, stuffing state and then also eventually federal prisons with low-level nonviolent drug offenders. And some of the other forms of policing that actually were helpful to the community were not as prioritized or not as funded as, locking up low-level drug dealers or drug users. Good actually now to see that a giant wave is actually shaking the very foundations of the police and criminal justice system. And I hope that the wave is big enough now that we can really defund the police and dismantle some departments and really start replacing it with something that's more effective.
I'm totally down for defund the police. And I'm almost completely down with dismantle. All this is an evolution of the slave catchers. And you add that in with, this subjective reality that everybody in different groups in America operate under, and you have a totalitarian system. You have this 1984 dystopic system that people don't realize that we're living in.
You refuse, I think, to allow a Hitler Mussolini moment again in the world. I think that's why this moment is really important. Just to speak to the Black Lives Matter movement, we've certainly been outraged for a very long time and have seen over and over and over and over and over and over again the unnecessary deaths of too many Black and brown bodies at the hands of police.
A lot of people talking about defund the police, but what they really mean by defund the police. So tell me why the people want to defund the police. Why? Cause they take your money. Defund, what's that mean? If they don't know where their funds are, who's gonna protect us once defunded? That's the fun part. Allocate what would be spent to process arrests for education, housing, healthcare, and the rest. In New York City's budget for 2019, they spent $6 billion on the NYPD. Take it down to $5 billion, make them leave a bill behind. That's still more than several other major agencies combined.
I went to the protest in Foley Square. We'd been chanting like, whose streets are streets, but we're all getting out of the street. And then I had this like moment of lucidity where I sort of realized what the meaning of civil disobedience is, that to make a point, the point is to break the law. The point is to say, no, the law proceeds from the collective will of the people, or it ought to. It is our right to be here to make this point, A handful of us sort of joined arms in spite of the fact that, there was these automated messages coming from the NYPD's amplifier that if you stay in the street, you'll be arrested, and we got arrested, and then off we went. All of my pushing and moving has been from the comfort of me in my recording booth. You know what I mean? Like it's been different, and like something clicked, I guess, in that moment. My personal experience came at no physical harm to myself and little mental harm to myself as well. I was treated respectfully. However, it was easy to witness while going through it that not everybody had received the same treatment that day, and that things were rapidly changing. Some people had been roughed up, some people had a much more tumultuous experience of being arrested, and even, some of the people that I met who were arrested around the same time as me who appeared to have been treated much less courteously. It's about generating anthems, content, emotional responses to all of these issues from every corner and from every color and from every type of person, because the more people participate in that, the more progress we make.
Yeah, we really want to amplify Black voices and messages that are anti-racist and support anti-racist policies, and educate our followers on how to do that as well.
Make sure that you know what you're doing. And what you're doing is that these guys will not play with you no more. No more killing Black people.
This has to be a prolonged protest. This has to be on some South Africa apartheid level. I'm scared that once this COVID lockdown stops, that people will get distracted, not have the time. I really hope that people remember all of this, like the police brutality, the reasons that we're in this, that this stuff is ongoing, that we can actually bring about core fundamental change.
They took away the drum. They took away the drum. So I use my voice to resurrect the bones that rest alone at the bottom of the sea. I'll use me. Okay?
I just want us to be careful about buying into the narrative that the worst thing going on right now is the looting. Use that word too for a moment. Think about it. Is it looting to basically be a major corporation in this country and receive billions in tax breaks, while supposedly there isn't money or means to give every American health care? I don't know. I think that's looting.
When I was a kid, I remember going by some businesses that were boarded up and they looked weird and like no one had been there for a long time. And someone in my family who's an elder told me, oh, this place has been closed since they killed King and it got burned out and it never really came back.
There are boarded up places that got boarded up after the assassination of Dr. King. There are vacant lots where buildings were burned down, that were burned down in 1968. Nothing has grown up to replace them. And while we appreciate the peaceful demonstration, and we all have a need to vindicate our presence and to express what we think and what we feel, but we also have a responsibility to acknowledge certain things work and some things don't work quite as well. And so pillaging, looting, burning down, tearing up what is in existence does not necessarily bring the results that we're looking for.
But sometimes an act of aggression yields the exact desired result, and some unintended consequences.
A crowd that grew to 200 people gathered in the streets outside. The crowd got hostile when it witnessed police officers' rough treatment of the men and women, from pushing to kicking to arm twisting. Someone yelled, "Black power, don't let them take our people away." And quickly, folks started throwing bricks, rocks, and beer cans at the police. One bottle smashed through the last police cruiser to leave the scene, and what forever came to be known in the media as the, quote, Detroit riot, what government officials dubbed Detroit's civil disturbance, and what Blacks call the Great Rebellion, erupted. No numbers ran during that entire week as looting, burning, and violence wore on for 5 days. A combined force of nearly 17,000 officers, National Guardsmen, and federal troops was sent in. And by the time the uprising was suppressed, as many as 155,000 rounds of ammunition had been fired by law enforcement. 43 people were dead, 30 of them African Americans, including a 4-year-old girl named Tanya, victim to a .50 caliber bullet fired by the National Guard. More than 7,000 people were arrested on riot-related charges.
So you and I sitting here both know that that happened in 1967.
Yes.
But I promise it could be a blog entry from 2 or 3 nights ago as we sit here in 2020.
Exactly. I've been having flashbacks, Brian. And
you were just a girl.
I was just a little girl. I was not quite 7 years old when it all happened. And it absolutely is a scar on my memory. The fear, the sense of not knowing what was happening. And now when I think about it and I realize the damage that it left in its wake, not least of which was Detroit never really quite recovered. A lot of those 2,500 buildings were not rebuilt. That's the anxiousness I feel now. What will be left in the wake of this devastation?
In addition to being a living witness to the Detroit uprising of '67, Bridgette Davis is the author of The World According to Fannie Davis, a memoir of her late mother, an independent Black businesswoman who ran a numbers banking business from her Detroit home for more than 2 decades.
You, more than almost anyone, had a firsthand view of what economic independence and the multiplier effect that dollars in Black communities can have when they stay inside the Black community, both in the short term and historically.
Yes, even though small businesses were gone,
a very significant underground economy continued to thrive. And so people had a means to continue to support themselves, to rebuild their businesses, to contribute, like my mom did, to rebuilding. Those things were in place because that particular underground economy was already in place. And that's what's so different from today. And that's another feeling that I have, my concern about how we'll regroup.
Let me tell you, without help, these small businesses, many of them, will never come back.
And while the loss of prosperity for an entire generation of Black communities is nearly incalculable, Blacks have suffered higher mortality rates from the coronavirus and greater joblessness. And a recent study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found the COVID-19 pandemic led to the closing of some 3.3 million small businesses, 440,000 of which were Black-owned, a 41% decline from February through April, making Black business owners the most impacted group. For Congressman Danny K. Davis, who represents the neighborhood where my parents still live and holds a seat on the Ways and Means Committee, that wealth gap has a very human face.
Yeah. It's African American men who've never had a job. It's young women with 2 and 3 children earning $30,000 a year, if they earn that much. How do you take care of yourself and 3 children as a clerk at one of the dollar stores or one of the places, or working in a nursing home as a health aide where you're making less than $15 an hour?
And there's something about COVID-19 that has changed the conversation, right? No longer can government say what it can't do. The government stepped in and provided millions, billions of dollars in aid.
The Ways and Means Committee tweeted this, saying that over 110,000 Americans have died due to COVID-19 and 42 million are out of work. And you add that to the strain that was already on small businesses, Black businesses, minority and women-owned. So do you think something like a Marshall Plan for Black communities would be something that the U.S. government should get behind and develop?
Unequivocally and without a doubt. I mean, we can call it the Martin Luther King plan. We can call it the Roy Wilkins plan. We can call it the Sojourner Truth plan. What's so important is that we do it. I mean, we don't have any other way to infuse capital into disadvantaged areas and put people to work. Guess what? The money that they generate is going to flow right back into the economy. Right. Because now they're paying taxes, they're working. So that money is going to put money back into the treasury, which gives us money to do other things with. I don't call it spending. I call it investment. If there's no investment, no return.
I am ultimately, ironically, Brian, positive about this moment. I am. It's painful, it's scary. We still are in an unknown territory, but I do believe that that's how progress works. And so this is this generation's opportunity to push us forward. I believe in them. I believe in my son. I believe in all these young people out here. I believe in people like you doing the good work, the hard work, you know, and I think that it does matter. It matters.
the most part, for me, still is really the base of it, the crux of it is documentation. But as we move forward, it became, you know, the story. It became, this was an American uprising of sorts, and something that's never been seen. So a lot of times, you know, my lens tends to gravitate towards that aspect of history that needs to be documented in a way that's going to be looked upon for future generations as this thing. Like, what happened then? This is what happened then. So it's kind of like my message to future generations. You know, I make images. I try to make impactful images. I try to make images that make a statement in my own way of protesting, I guess. The whole documentation process itself is about making images. I don't necessarily record, but I am recording, but I'm making images. If you have a camera phone and you're not necessarily trained as a photographer, or you're recording, I make images, as well as other photographers who are photojournalists or who are image makers. You have people who do that. That's what they do, as opposed to like, hey, I'm a photographer because I have a camera phone. No, not in my mind. So I kind of like just try to like weed through all that and get to where the main source of what I want to put into the visual context. I want that to be the most important aspect of what I'm doing on that particular day. And that really causes you to, to kind of like make images. You have to sit there, you have to watch and wait. You look at people's behavior, their facial expressions, and you wait for that particular precise moment, which I like to call the sovereign moment, that precise moment where you have to you're going to make that decision visually to make that image come into being. I'm thinking about getting to the main source of that particular image. Sometimes I gravitate to the outskirts of that event itself, or just people who not normally would be photographed, or people who were kind of like playing the wall of sorts. What's really going through my mind a lot of times is really to be safe and photograph in a safe manner, and photograph in a way that's not going to necessarily be exploitative, still allowing dignity to be shown through the lens itself, as well as not necessarily allowing like pure sensationalism. I do know that a lot of the people who are coming in to loot, I mean, this is me just really being on the ground and seeing it firsthand, we're not necessarily protesters. These were people who were opportunists. These were people who specifically came there with the intention of getting some free stuff. Those stores have insurance that could cover that. I'm not saying that was right, but they do have insurance that could cover it. I do believe that the economic opportunities for some people do not exist in their world, so they find it, easy to go ahead and like, I'm just gonna rip off, and because I'm caught up in this whole materialistic drive to go ahead and say, hey, I got this, I got that, mine is better than yours because it's that name brand. But that's American culture for you. You know what I'm saying? That's where it is right now. This is what's being advertised and pushed to the youth. Unfortunately, it manifested itself in that aspect of the protest, but it's not the protest. So it can't be really compared. And people who try to compare those two extremes as one are foolish and are people who really should not have a mic. Seeing the brother of George Floyd, I thought was very relative to what is being. He was like I said, he was very thankful and he was very gracious in his presence. And just seeing that in itself inspired me to walk across the bridge. So I'm thankful for moments like that, because it sends a message that's bigger than necessarily that photograph at that moment. I'm gonna say the one with John Baptiste on Union Square, with his hand extended in the air, and then you see all the other instruments, because that was a really fun day to bring in music to heal, and music to go ahead and push you further, and just that expression, that expressionism of creativity, I think lends itself to solutions. So that picture in my mind stands out to me, because it's a form of protest, and as well as, you're having musicians and creatives involved in the process of change.
I've raised the bar in the sense that I've been able to get promoted. I decided to join the police department in many ways to do what I'm doing right now, which is try to see what can be done to improve it. I was naive thinking that they'd embrace this, someone from the community that could bring better ideas. I didn't realize that the system would push back on that. But I joined because I knew what I experienced, what my friends and I were experiencing, what was going on throughout the United States, and how Black men were being policed. And I figured, let me join and see what I could do about it. I work for the New York City Police Department, going on 11 years, and I'm currently in the rank of lieutenant. Just a kid from Flatbush, born, immigrant parents from Haiti, who was raised in tough times, tough situations. My mother died when I was real young. I was 3 years old. My father wasn't working since I was 6, and that was some serious ingredients right there. Usually success is not on the other side.
So this is a building I was born and raised, grew up in. And this is where it all started, man. It's funny because I started reading late in life, and I would literally sit here and read, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, all types of books. This was right around the time that Operation Impact started in the police department. And what they basically did is they flooded certain neighborhoods with rookie cops that stood on every corner. And they gave them quotas for how many arrest summonses and stop and frisks they each have to bring in on a monthly basis. So a lot of times the rookie officers would come here to see what we're doing, because they see a whole bunch of young Black men congregating. And then yet I'm reading books, I'm quoting Marcus Garvey, I'm quoting Malcolm X. I remember they looked confused and they would just go back to their corners. You know what I mean? They were trying to meet their quotas. I didn't know that then. What's good, King? Doing some filming, you know what I mean?
Of course. Everything good?
You know this.
What's the word?
All right, shit.
You just came out here.
Huh?
You just came out here?
Me, I just got here. He's coming.
When I was real young, cops were heroes. Cops were the people you call when something went wrong. That's it. And then I remember slowly seeing certain headlines like Amadou Diallo and Abner Louima, even Sean Bell a little later on. When I started seeing these issues, I started questioning policing a lot. And then I started getting harassed by cops. And at first I didn't really know what it was, especially because most of the cops were white. I assumed they were simply racist. They were white. I was a young Black kid. They hated Black folks, so they were racist. But once I actually joined the department, I learned that it's much more complex than just simple individual racism. It's the racism that's interwoven in the system by the way of the enforcement quotas in Black and Hispanic communities. So even a well-meaning white cop or a cop of any race can still contribute to a racist system if they simply do what's asked of them, which is to enforce quotas in minority neighborhoods. So once I started understanding that and breaking it down, it started giving me some trouble. Just going to work, every day I was witnessing things that I noticed that my colleagues didn't even lose sleep over. And again, it's not because they're bad people, but this was the demand of the system that they were just meeting. Being an activist that's trying to get police reform while being employed by the most famous police department in the world, I'm really at a loss for words, but it's really difficult to explain what that's like. You know, to speak out against the detriments of policing and then walk into work 5 days a week, there's no explaining that. Because unfortunately, a lot of my colleagues and coworkers, they don't see it as me trying to improve the system, improve their jobs, their quality of life, relationship with the community. They see it as me being anti-police. Right now, cops feel as if they're under attack by the media and liberals, Democrats, and they feel I'm on the inside, a traitor that's contributing to that attack. So to have to carry that and go into work and do my job, it's insane. Sometimes it's real disheartening, the fact that there's not more support. You know, like the Stop Question and Frisk lawsuit. Because with that lawsuit, we were able to get real change. And I wish, along with Stop Question and Frisk, summonses and arrests were included, because it's very likely that a situation like Eric Garner would have never happened. Because everyone else just saw a white cop who didn't care about this guy. You know, they probably even saw him as a racist. I didn't see that watching that video. I saw a cop trying to meet his arrest police. Always been outspoken. I realized injustice is something I was never a fan of. I used to get in arguments with my dad when he was unfair. In that sense, my family's not surprised. They know I've always been this way. They are concerned though, because historically, it doesn't really end too well for whistleblowers. You know, it doesn't. Usually, it's not as happy ending. Activism is not easy work, but what keeps me grounded in knowing that I have to stay the course is understanding the millions of lives that are going to be positively affected if I'm successful.
We captured footage of a pregnant woman who her son was being arrested, and she was grabbed and slammed against the floor while she was 6 months pregnant. We've gotten footage of street vendors who were selling fruits and vegetables along Fifth Avenue. At 5 o'clock, there was an end of a festival and the police shut it down at 5:05. These vendors were slammed to the floor while in handcuffs, kicked around, beat up, 16-year-old girl choked by the captain of the precinct. All of this on video. And these are the things that, that happen a lot, And if we're not there capturing it, people just won't believe that it happens, that it's going on. But it's in this city, it's going on every day. When I was younger, as a Latino, young kid, teenager, people didn't believe you when you had a certain encounter with the police. Whether it was your parents, whether it was your teachers, no one in power believed young people and what we went through. Oh, cops are not that bad, But it really was until we started getting our hands on cameras and turning them on when the cops approached us to show, what that looked like, what that felt like. The first people to have to pave the way, as far as in this cop watch movement, we took a lot of hits. October 2002, I was a teaching artist for W.E.B. Du Bois High School, and after school I witnessed the police manhandling a teenager at the subway station. And I decided to grab a payphone, dial 911, and pull out a point-and-shoot digital camera and start taking pictures from 20 feet away in front of a token booth where the public was watching as the cops were slapping this kid around. As I was on the phone talking to the operator, describing what the cops looked like, cops walked up to me while I was on the payphone and maced me. As they took possession of the camera and handcuffed me, they all slammed me to the floor, piled up on top of me, and one officer cracked my head open with his walkie-talkie. They stomped on my handcuffs that were, behind my back, my arms. I got permanent nerve damage on my fingers, and a big gash to the top of my head, and I was sprayed with mace. I was taken to jail and charged with assaulting police, with obstruction of governmental administration, and a list of other bogus crimes that it took a year for them to dismiss. When I filed a complaint, police were attempting to intimidate me. They would show up to my house. There would be an unmarked police car parked in front of my house. They would show up at my job. They would go to my mother's job, and they would just follow us around, want themselves to be visible, wanting me to notice them. And they would wave at me, and they would drive by me, and that was an intimidation tactic. What I decided to do was get my friends to come with me, have multiple cameras. So I would have someone across the street on one angle, somebody on another angle, a chain of cameras watching over each other. As I would walk up to the parked unmarked car and knock on their window with the camera on and ask them, "Officer, can you identify yourself? How come you've been parked in front of my house for this whole entire week?" The cops would, roll their windows up and drive away. It was that experience that got me to see that I needed to organize with a group of people with multiple cameras where we watch over each other. We don't interfere, we don't obstruct. We're there to document, observe, and collect evidence as to what happened. Turn around. They're putting body cams on police officers, and they already set up the rules to make sure that the public will not have access to this footage. So there's a camera that is worn on his body, on the chest, and it points outward. So it's not recording the cop, it's not recording the police officer's expressions, words, or whatever. It's recording what they're collecting of the public. So that's why our cameras are recording them. We need to document what they're doing, and what's happening in the scene. In Sunset Park, there are NYPD surveillance cameras already lined up through the poles on the busiest avenues in this neighborhood. And there's been a history of incidents that have happened with the police right underneath those cameras. I myself have taken out applied for FOIL requests for the police department to release this footage. We recorded our version, and there's an unedited version recorded somewhere that the police has access to. And people have been arrested, people have been assaulted, they've gone to court, lawyers have subpoenaed this footage, and the police have never released this. So this is evidence that exists that the police department, the city of New York, purposely withhold. we've been able to use our cameras and our videos as evidence to get charges dropped, to be put in as evidence, to, you know what I'm saying, to protect people.
My name is Sean Leonardo. I'm an artist, and you are now seeing the work, my work, as backdrop to the exhibition Whisper or Shout. I'm here because just in a few hours, I will be performing a performance art piece called The Eulogy with an entire marching band. Teenagers of the Berean Community Drumline from East New York. All the power is in what happens tonight. All the power is in what it connects with the people present. And so there's no accident why we invited people to attend in funeral attire. This is a funeral, and this is an actual eulogy.
What are you waiting for me to tell you? What good will it do? What if I said that this isn't a funeral? That it's a holiday celebration?
All of my work, my career has really centered on definitions of masculinity. Broadening those definitions, questioning, problematizing preconceived notions of what manhood is. And now when Trayvon Martin was murdered, and I use that word purposefully, I looked at his image and two things started to happen. One, I was reminded of the same fear that was instilled, that was embedded at the center of my chest, right? The same fear that really stemmed from, let's say, a distrust growing up in Queens, right? Now I'm a Queensian, I'm from New York City. The second thing that started to occur and started to surface emotionally was that I realized that that young boy, his face could very well have been my face, could very well have been the face of a number of different people growing up that I grew up with, but also could be my son. I'm having a kid. I'm having a baby. The due date is May 30th. And so I had this emotional upheaval and I didn't even quite really understand. And then I realized that I was coping with the fact that my potential son, my kid, was going to have to grow up with that same fear. And it would have been hypocritical based on my practice, it would have been hypocritical of me to not address masculinity in terms of young brothers of color. And so I'm reading this book. And what I really became inspired to do was take those words and instead of address and memorialize Brother Todd Clifton, that I would then insert the names of young men of color that have died at the hands of the police between the last 3 and 5 years. Unfortunately, it was very easy to do. There was no lack of names.
His name was... His name was... His name was...
It is personal. It is personal in the same way that anyone that witnesses those videos or experiences any level of aggression with authority, with power, that it might be personal for them. It is in our surroundings. You know, it is very much part of our reality. And I just thought to myself, what could I do not only to further the conversation around police violence, but to force it into people's hearts? I wanted to do something that hurts, right?
Go home and forget him. He's in this box, newly dead. Go home and don't think about it. He's dead, and you got all you can do to think about it. about.
And it's not about empathy for me, and it's not about revisiting some sort of trauma, not about a level of catharsis. It's about bearing witness to something that is incredibly, incredibly awful and powerful.
Tell them to get out of the box and teach those cops to forget that rhyme. Tell them to teach those cops that when they call you nigga, make a rhyme the trigger that the guns backfire.
When you have issues, you know, you don't always have to bring in the police department. You could work that out. If you have a peacemaker and residents that are willing to listen and feel and later on understand the fact that we're not at each other, we're not against each other, but we just want peace, just like everybody else does.
We have judges who are smart enough, particularly at the Justice Center in Red Hook, who know that not everything that happens after a criminal charge is in fact a criminal act.
If you look in the penal law, if I have an assault case, I can decide whether the people have proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. If so, give a criminal conviction to a person in order protection for the victim. Defendant has all the consequences of a criminal conviction. Victim is still looking over his or her shoulder. Everyone in the area knows that the victim testified against the defendant. I want to send this case to peacemaking. I sent a case like that to peacemaking. My first case came back where the defendant was in court saying he knew that he had made some mistakes and he was sorry for the decisions he made. The victim decided to be there. The victim was there for the offender. They left arm in arm. The victim turned to the offender and said, "Do you need a ride home?" That's a result I could not deliver. That's a result that convinced me from day one of the power of peacemaking.
First, I'd like to go over a little bit of quick ground rules. This is the talking piece, and this is what we use to pass around. When someone has a talking piece, they have the stage pretty much, and they command your attention to speak and say what they have to say. The talking piece will ultimately go around the circle, and everyone will have a chance to speak.
I don't understand why he called the police on me. If he felt some type of way, he could have came to the party. I didn't tell him he couldn't come.
You have anything to say?
I didn't call the police on you. The only time I called the police on you is when we got into that physical altercation. I don't know what you're talking about. I got kids at home that need to sleep at a certain time. Now, come on. I understand the weekends, but you got to cut your party short now.
I really don't have much to say. I'm just over the loud music and what's going on, and it just need to stop.
The program was brought to the Red Hook Justice Center 4 years ago to help people that was having minor disputes, like somebody's playing their music too loud and they don't want to turn it down, so it becomes a court issue. Basically, I guess there's civil cases that we could show some civility and work these problems out with ourselves.
The peacemaking program came about as a result of our relationships with Native American tribes. We had been traveling around to tribes all across the country and learning about their approaches to justice.
We had the Native people, the Navajo, come in to train us in peacemaking. And we learned that peacemaking is an ancient way of problem solving. And we learned that peacemaking also has to do with storytelling, and that we have a commitment to each other, and we have a commitment to community. We have a commitment to tell our stories. And in telling those stories is how we solve these problems. That's one way of, kind of opening up the circle. And everybody has a story to tell.
We're always accustomed to using microwave justice. We always want things solved right away. But with peacemaking, it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes a case could take 1 week to 2 months, on a weekly basis.
I would like you guys to see how it goes, and we'll set up another date for you to come back. But I also want to know that just for you, how would he or she or his wife contact you if something arises?
Think of what the advantages would be if small disputes of community members were not in the courts, that youngsters who made a dumb mistake by starting a fight in the schoolyard did not have to have charges pressed against them or go to a facility or be fingerprinted, etc. Think of what it does to help a young person figure out, I am powerful in this situation, I can help solve this, Those are the kinds of things that peacemaking does. Think of how it feels for the community to have a voice in how something gets settled or solved between a dispute with neighbors.
So maybe we should do the cases first. Peacemaking is the most innovative and effective tool I've seen in the justice system in my over 35 years in criminal justice. It delivers better results for victims, for offenders, for community courts, and for police.
So I would say this, as far as working out the issue with you, it's cool Monday through Thursday, music be down 9, Friday, Saturday, 1 o'clock. All right.
You're being very considerate. I do appreciate that. Now, you said 9 o'clock on the weekdays and 1 o'clock in the morning.
Dream of the things you'll never know. Oh, dream of the beauty within your soul. George Floyd! When you dream, when you dream, dream slow. Take the time to let dreams grow. Just dream, just dream, just dream.
Are you Trey?
Yeah, you have that?
The flesh, baby.
Not really what I expected.
Yeah? Yo, I'm an entrepreneur. Just securing that bag, trying to get that guap, boy.
Why you talking like that?
Talking like what?
Like that. Oh, forget it. You got that cash?
Yeah? Yo, you got that?
Yeah. Cash? Moolah? Dinero?
Yeah, of course. Yo, chill. Yeah, hold on a second.
You serious?
Dead ass, boy.
Spending all my money like I just got a raise. Made a little bread, but I blew it on some bait. About to go 8. Hungry, need a plate. Before I spend more, make sure all my niggas straight. I don't never pay full price. Cause I got the plug and they put it to the side. Going broke for Off-White. Cause she love my Off-White. Gotta cop that on sight. Then I call that shit a night. Bitch, I lied. Wait. Why do I keep blowing my checks on new dish?
Feels good to be back in good old Brooklyn, USA. The place that made me. Does it feel good to be back in Brooklyn?
Yeah, feels okay.
I have a good feeling about this.
Me too. I mean, they did not deserve you at that other place. Taking all your creative and your ideas and then using it as their own and then taking credit for it. No. This is gonna be good. Look, I know that you are going to be like the Steve Jobs of all things kicks and mobile apps and sneaker blogs, etc., etc., etc. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay.
You know, until all that happens, I gotta get this store up and running by next week.
And I think you can do it, babe.
Ava's gonna love Brooklyn.
I hope so. I mean, she was just starting to make friends, and then we up and moved.
She's
so
gonna make a ton of friends here. Trust me. Have I ever steered you wrong? Okay, besides that time.
All right, fine.
Where you going?
I'm about to go by a Darren spot. Then I gotta go meet this dude, sell him a pair of dunks. I'm trying to save up a cop the band ones.
New sneakers? You just got the ones you have on.
And I need those band ones.
Maybe if you start spending all your money on sneakers, we can have our own apartment together.
This again?
I don't want to have to worry about one of my roommates cooking scrambled eggs in her underwear again.
She do got a nice. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm not. Jay, I've been thinking about the next level in our relationship. Saving, building a life together, you know?
Okay. You save, and whatever money I have left over after I sell these sneakers, I'll put in the savings fund.
I'm really starting to think you care more about your sneakers than you care about me.
That's not true. Like, you're not gonna make me choose, are you?
I don't even believe we're having this conversation.
Come on, you know you only with me because I wear these sneakers.
That has nothing to do with it.
So you talk to me if I had on a pair of bum-ass pro-kids.
What are pro-kids?
My point exactly. I see you, babe.
Franklin, take your hat off in the house.
Nah, you made me miscount.
What are you doing with all that money?
I'm a businessman, Ma. Jeez.
Don't be fresh. Look at you. Where are those chubby cheeks I fell in love with at the adoption agency? Huh? Where are you going?
I'm gonna hang out with some friends. We're gonna play some video games.
Okay, have fun. Play nice.
Oh, the store is really coming along great, D.
Getting there. We should be ready to open by next week.
How's Cassandra?
Good.
I know moving back to Brooklyn was the last thing she was thinking.
She believes in the dream, little bro. We need to get you one of those.
Yo, so since we open it next week, we gotta throw a dope opening bash.
You know I ain't about all that. We gonna open the shop without all that fanfare. It's about the kicks.
These days it's about the hype.
Facts.
Let me get up out of here.
Where you going now?
I'll be back. I gotta go meet this dude to sell him these new Jordan SBs. Trying to cop the band ones.
But thanks for all your help.
Anytime, bro.
Yo, be careful.
I got this.
Be here tomorrow. Early.
All right.
Trey, I'm serious.
All right.
Are you Trey?
Yeah, you ever die?
The flesh, baby.
Here's to new possibilities. I left Brooklyn a prince, and I'm returning the king. King of the world.
Oh! My bad, bro.
Yo! Yo!
I love shoes, everybody knows it. If you don't, yup, my Instagram shows it. I love sneakers, the new smell. I'm addicted, I need help. You heard that? Heard what I said? Yup, that's right, I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. The first time I went to Foot Locker, I saw some real fresh shoes on the little key wall. So I said, Mommy, can I please try them on? And then she said, for what? Cause you ain't getting none. It really doesn't matter, I just want them on my feet. I wanna walk around in the store for a whole week. They got them out the back, they brought them in a stack. I started shaking, almost had me a heart attack. My mom told me calm down, before she tell him never mind, let me leave now. But I was so happy I couldn't see how. She would expect me just to sit down, but I had to listen. So I tried them on my feet, they were real sweet. Pretty laces.
Your mom's home though? She not home?
You know this is a job interview, right?
Oh, hold on, man.
So I'm here for the job or whatever, but let me tell you about Peaches. Peaches don't do mornings, because if she don't get her good 10 hours, she's a bitch, and you really wouldn't like Peaches in bitch mode.
I could change my ways. I could be a nighttime pimp.
Who doesn't love kicks? I mean, nothing like some skinny jeans and a fresh pair of J's.
No, I could work any day of the week. It's just I prefer to be here every Saturday because that's when the J's come out. You know, just put the 10.5 to the side. You ain't got to pay me. You know, I don't want anything but the shoes.
Peaches, I don't know if this is the job for you.
You don't want Peaches? No? Fine, then Peaches don't want you neither.
This is my girl's birthday today, so I know I'm gonna get this job because I'm on point. I got a quick question though. I can get a free pair of kicks so I could bring her something right now?
In this neighborhood, you know, it get kind of sketchy, you know what I'm saying? Because the last owners that were here, they used to get robbed. You know, Brinks used to stop around the corner, you know what I'm saying, because they didn't want to come in this neighborhood.
You look familiar, man.
Nah, bro, you don't know me.
Come on, man. Your sneakers look great today.
Well, I had to clean them after you stepped on them.
I'm just here for a job, man. I used to be a barista around the corner, but they canned me, so I'm just on the market. Come on, man. I know sneakers, but I got a great idea for the store. What about boots?
Spending all my money like I just got a raise. Made a little bread, but I blew it on some bait. About to go 8. Hungry, need a plate. Before I spend more, make sure all my niggas straight. I don't never pay full price. Cause I got the plug and they put it to the side. Going broke for off-white. Cause she love my off-white. Gotta cop that on sight. Then I call that shit a night. Bitch, I lied. Wait. Why do I keep blowing my checks on new dish?
Brother, I'm running for city council, but we are focusing on local, community-based boards and government to empower the community and implement change.
I'm good.
Oh, nice kicks. Copper foams, right?
Yeah, how you know that?
I used to rock some fly kicks in my day. Now the 5s were my favorites.
The 5s are cool, but the 3s are fire.
Can I ask you a question? Why is it so important for you to be so fresh?
Oh, it's when I put on sneakers, you know, and they're fresh and crisp. I don't know, feeling like it makes me feel like somebody.
You know, you can also feel like somebody by making a difference in your community. Yeah. Ain't you Dee's little brother? I knew you look familiar.
Yeah, how you know my brother?
Me and Dee used to run the streets together back in the day. How's he doing?
He's good. He just opened up a sneaker spot in Brownsville.
You know, he's been collecting kicks for as long as I've known him. Take one. Everyone deserves to be fly, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Tell D Big Riley said what's up.
All right, got you.
Yo, man. What took you so long, man?
I had to get fly, bro. I was with your girl, too, earlier, so I was...
You got jokes, son. You got jokes.
I play.
Anyway, you seen Hannibal's new video? Joint fire. Look at that.
Get money, get famous, gon' live forever.
Watch it. That's my part right here.
Horrible, bro. He's overrated. Overrated, yo.
You crazy, man. People just don't understand him because he ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time? More like a head case, bro.
You bugging, man. Anyway, good looking for coming when we cop these J's, just in case some fools out here try to zoe me.
Really, bro?
My bad. I forgot, man. Please forgive me, man.
Not even
I'm sorry.
funny. Like, I'm still not over the fact I let Jeremy Lin rob me. When I catch him, it's on sight. Believe that, bro.
You ain't gonna do shit.
What? You want me to show you?
You ain't saying nothing but a word.
Don't play with me, bro.
Zip off, man.
Yo, let's get it, bro.
Shit.
Ray, where are you, man? I thought you was gonna be here for these interviews. I need your help. Everybody's like, man, everybody's crazy. Hit me when you get this.
Yo, D? What's good, bruh?
What up, love? What you doing now?
What you mean what I'm doing now? It's good to see you too, bro.
My bad. When did you get out?
Last week. Good behavior.
So how you find me?
Wow. Yo, like I said, it's good to see you too. I was just in the neighborhood, man. Had to go check out my P.O. Heard you had a shop, so thought I'd come check you out. What, you think I'm stalking you or something?
I'm just messing with you, man. It's good to see you.
Word. I see you hiring. You're my brother's keeper, right? I get a job?
This is what it looks like when your past comes back to haunt you.
What's up, baby?
Hey,
What's for dinner?
whatever you cook.
Peanut butter and jelly it is. You want some?
Did you pay the light bill today like I asked you?
Yeah. See, what had happened was, I had met up with, Trey. You know Trey, he got the curls and, well, these new sneakers came out. I really like them. So, I spent $180 on them, but tomorrow I could flip that for $250 in cash, baby. We about to come up.
Kicks, Cisco, I told you the bill had to be paid by today.
I'll get the money.
Dios mío, ayúdame, por
It's not a
favor.
big deal.
Ay, Dios mío.
Baby, I love you so much. You know the kicks I bought, they glow in the dark. Should I go get them?
I love shoes, everybody knows it. If you don't, yup, my Instagram shows it. I love sneakers, the new smell. I'm addicted, I need help. You heard that? Heard what I said? Yup, that's right, I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. The first time I went to Foot Locker, I saw some real fresh shoes on the little key wall. So I said, Mommy, can I please try them on? And then she said, for what? Cause you ain't getting none. It really doesn't matter, I just want them on my feet. I wanna walk around in the store for a whole week. They got them out the back, they brought them in a stack. I started shaking, almost had me a heart attack. My mom told me calm down, but first she told him never mind, let me leave now. But I was so happy I couldn't see how. She would expect me just to sit down, but I had to listen. So I tried them on my feet, they were real sweet.
So, Mr. Harrison, how are you feeling today?
Call me by my artist name, Hannibal, because I eat these MCs.
Okay. Hannibal, how are you feeling today?
Vulnerable. That's how I feel.
Can you talk a little more about that?
Trying to be what people want you to be is hard. It's not always about making hits, being lit, stunting on these hoes. People also need to be loved, you know? The fans don't love Curtis. The fans love Hannibal.
Well, love and acceptance are a basic human need. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
You're not gonna tell anyone about this, are you?
Of course not. Doctor-client privilege. What we talk about here stays in this office.
Because if you tell anyone, you know I'll kill you. I'm just fucking with you. But I will kill you.
Spending all my money like I just got a raise. Made a little bread, but I blew it on some bait. Bout to go 8. Hungry, need a plate. Before I spend more, make sure all my niggas straight. I don't never pay full price. Cause I got the plug and they put it to the side. Going broke for Off-White, cause she love my Off-White. Gotta cop that on sight, then I call that shit a night. Bitch, I lied. Why do I keep blowing my checks on new dish?
Take a step back, let me show you where real rap's kept at. Man, I rep that type of shit, that's like legit. I keep it moving like transit. I give it rhythm like drums, my hands hit. Make plans with some cats that I smoke grams with. Same dudes I now make jams with. Man, take a breath so fluent in a birthday game. I just stepped into it. Made no mistakes, I meant to do it. Opposite of a dimension unit makes sense. Knew it, my floor at last. For sure outlast. My opponent with words that blast.
Sasha, you're supposed to be working.
I am working. Okay, I'm posting some of our new inventory, and you want more customers up in here, don't you?
Not an excuse. I'll be in the back.
Welcome to Woodstack, where it's all wood. How may I help you?
Well, you can start by telling me when you're getting the new Buscemi's. I need 5 pairs in every color, size 11.
We don't carry that shoe, but I can special order them for you and personally call you when they come in.
Hey, Ray, I just thought of something. I got mad inspired. Kicks. These chicks so mighty. You know what? I'm on my way to lay this one down. I'll be there in 10 minutes. At 1.
Girl, you're never gonna guess who just walked into the store. Lulu, I might be pregnant. We're barely surviving as it is, and now we might have another mouth to feed. I just can't.
Think of it as a blessing. You know God will never give you more than you can handle.
Well, the way God's been doing me these days, I want my money back.
Okay, bitch. Don't write a check your ass can't cash.
Girl, bye. At this point, he be doing me a favor.
Don't talk like that. Don't even joke.
I'm just frustrated. It's like I can't catch a break.
Speaking of the devil.
The devil? What?
Nothing, babe. What's up? Where you going?
I'm heading into work. My boss called me in to do some overtime. I know we need the money, so don't wait up. Word? It's like that?
Yeah, it's like that.
Fine then. Keep showing off from Lulu.
This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Mother Nature gives my mind a little spark, but I ain't talking about picking dandelions in the park as the cruise walks. My smooth talks to make you sway. Some will say I got sunshine on a cloudy day, but hey, maybe I just push the clouds away. Stay positive when the negatives around the way. It's such a fine display. Happiness to step away, even through the toughest times.
My bitch always popping up at the right time.
Bitch, every time.
Tell me you saw Hannibal's post.
Yeah, and?
I can't believe he came in the store. Girl, I would have died. I mean, Hannibal's he's like the fashion god, honey. Did you not see his last post?
Lita, I need to find a way to get to Hannibal.
Maybe you need to put it on him.
No, that's not it.
Anyways, it's real nice in here. It's all fancy and shit.
It is, right? Welcome to Woodstack, where it's all wood.
Oh my God. They make you say that for real?
Yeah.
Everyone needs a plug. But I had to make sure there was no bad blood. You see, we had a situation back in my street days. But now I hear he's the guy to get whatever kicks you need, no questions asked. But in Brooklyn, you always have to stay ready.
Yo, what up, dude?
What up, Jason?
We good? Yeah, we good. Water under the bridge.
Word. Grown man shit.
Exactly. Now let's get down to business. What you need?
I love shoes, everybody knows it. If you don't, yup, my Instagram shows it. I love sneakers, the new smell. I'm addicted, I need help. You heard that? Heard what I said? Yup, that's right, I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. The first time I went to Foot Locker, I saw some real fresh shoes on the little key wall. So I said, listen. So I tried them on my feet, they were real sweet.
Spending all my money like I just got a raise. Made a little bread, but I blew it on some bait. Bout go 8. Hungry, need a plate. Before I spend more, make sure all my niggas straight. I don't never pay full price. Cause I got the plug and they put it to the side. Going broke for all white. Cause she love my off-white. Gotta cop that on sight. Then I call that shit a night. Bitch, I lied. Wait. Why do I keep blowing my checks on new ish?
I could get used to this door-to-door service.
Don't get used to it, okay? I have some errands to run.
Thank you, baby.
Is that Lawrence from Halsey Street?
Oh, yeah. I didn't tell you I gave him a job?
A job? Are you sure you can trust him?
Yeah, he's cool. He just got out of jail, though.
Oh, so you hiring ex-cons now?
It's not like that.
Well, who's that?
Or that's Sasha. I didn't tell you about her either?
No, you didn't tell me about her either?
She's the cashier. She's a good kid.
She's cute.
Is she? I ain't even noticed.
Oh, you didn't notice, huh? That's good. You scared?
Should I be?
You might want to be. Just a little.
Girl, you need to stop. I told you, he doesn't like you. No, he doesn't. If he did, he would have said something already. Listen, I'm tired of you talking about him. You're so annoying. Can you stop? I said to stop. Whatever.
You on your phone again?
Girl, let me call you later. Boss man is here.
And clean off this counter. What is all this?
There's some designs I'm working on.
You did these?
Yes. I have dreams too, you know.
They're good. Really good.
I know.
The word is thank you. What do you mean my shipment was canceled? Well, who canceled it? You can't just give my shit away. I've been waiting on that stock for 3 weeks.
How far will one go to grab the hottest kicks when you're a legit sneak freak? The fact is, there are no limits if you're a true head. What's stack where it's all wood? Sasha speaking. May I ask who's calling? Lars, phone.
Hey, shorty, who is it?
They wouldn't say.
I need my shipment. You know what? I'm on my way there now.
How the hell'd you find me here? Yo, for real, son? You sweating right now, and it's not a good look. Yo, I told you, I'll have your bread. I just need... Give me a little more time. Yo, you for real? Hello? Yo, hello? Yo, boy, I've been texting and calling you for hours.
I ain't even did it.
Oh, you're a terrible liar. You stay on that phone 24/7.
Oh, you damn sure did. I must have hit it when it was in my pocket.
Yo, enough with the excuses, bro. I seen that dude that robbed me, yo. We gotta run down on him.
Yeah, for sure. Can I wait till tomorrow? Cause
Bro,
I'm first in line. You know, I gotta make sure at least get.
the OGs don't come out until a day after tomorrow. You know that.
Man, you know how these lines we getting, fam. I'm not trying to take no chances, man.
Bro, what we gonna do is maybe gonna take a couple hours. You're gonna be standing on this line for a couple days. I need to get my shits back.
All right. Damn, man. Come on, man. Get a song.
Well, it's him, I'm telling you.
So, you saying the guy that robbed you is just some college kid?
Yeah, something like that.
Son, you really close to getting your street cred taken away.
Yo, shut up.
You sure this is a crib, man?
Yes, I'm sure.
You sure he home?
No, but he lives here, so eventually he gotta come in or go out.
Right, you right. You say he had a hand piece up here?
Yes. I mean, I didn't see it, but I heard him cock it.
Shit, nigga, that's crazy right there. I don't know if these joints are worth getting bodied over, man, for real.
Says the man who's willing to sleep on the street for 3 days.
Dude, not the same. These are limited releases. Big difference. You gonna get your sneakers back today, though.
Need that bread, man.
Don't worry about it, man. I got you.
I love shoes, everybody knows it. If you don't, yup, my Instagram shows it. I love sneakers, the new smell. I'm addicted, I need help. You heard that? Heard what I said? Yup, that's right, I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. The first time I went to Foot Locker, I saw some real fresh shoes on the little key wall. So I said, Mommy, can I please try them on? And then she said, for what? Cause you ain't getting none. It really doesn't matter, I just want them on my feet. I wanna walk around in the store for a whole week. They got them out the back, they brought them in a stack. I started shaking, almost had me a heart attack. My mom told me calm down, before she tell him never mind, let me leave now. But I was so happy I couldn't see how. She would expect me just to sit down, but I had to listen.
So what we gonna do, man? What's the plan? 'Cause I'm not gonna keep doing this with you.
I'm gonna wait for this asshole to come out. I'm gonna punch him in the face. I'm gonna get my shit back, plain and simple.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a great plan. Kind of like the one you had when he robbed your ass,
Bro,
right?
why do you gotta keep doing this?
Spending all my money like I just got a raise. Made a little bread, but I blew it on some bait. About to go 8. Hungry, need a plate. Before I spend more, make sure all my niggas straight. I don't never pay full price. Cause I got the plug and they put it to the side. Going broke for all white. Cause she love my all white. Gotta cop that on sight. Then I call that shit a night. Bitch, I lied. Wait. Why do I keep blowing my checks on new dish?
Where's Lawson?
I haven't seen him yet.
All right, when he gets in, let me know, okay?
Sure thing, boss. Got him. Boss, can I talk to you for a second, please?
Yeah, what is it?
I have to leave early. I have something to do tonight.
How early?
Like now?
Killing me.
There he go right there.
Yo, you gotta be kidding me. You got robbed by him? Shut up, come on.
Hey, yo, what the? And you wearing my shits too? You motherfucker.
Where the gun at, kid? Where's that?
I don't have a gun. Yo, you lying, yo. I heard you cock it when you robbed me.
No, it's an app on my phone. Yo, check it.
Son, you got zoned by him? With an app, fam? How you expect me to keep this to myself, man?
Yo, you got me in these streets looking crazy. What's to stop me from beating your ass?
Yep.
And take my kicks off too, for you get blood on them.
Okay, yo, I got a way I can fix this. I got a plug. Get any kicks you want. Name it.
Band ones?
Bitch. Hannibal got like that? Girl, he got Henny and shit.
You need to get out more.
Her body.
Lita, stop, okay? Just focus. We're here on business.
Oh, okay, ponytail. You handle your business, and I'll handle mine.
Can't take bitches nowhere, I swear.
I heard that.
Whatever.
I did.
Whatever.
You want jelly bean? Girl, you hear that? All right, I gotta go.
Lita, if you don't...
I'll be back.
Oh, what are you doing here? Aren't you shorty from the sneaker shop?
I was just looking for the bathroom. I'm lost. Actually, I have a business proposition for you.
Oh, don't shoot!
I was just trying to show you some of my designs. I want to design a signature shoe for you.
Those do look nice.
Thanks. What the hell?
Trusting the wrong people can turn your world upside down in the blink of an eye.
Where's Lawson?
I don't know.
I like the green ones. Nah, the gold ones, bro. Ooh, fire. Gold. Fire.
Oh, you got my kicks?
Bro, it hasn't even been 24 hours. I ain't a genie.
Hello? What? Word? All right.
What happened?
Somebody robbed my brother's spot.
There's no honor in the game anymore.
Really?
talking? Come on, bro, we out. Where you going?
I can help.
Whatever, yo. Just don't get in the way.
I don't know. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe opening the shop was a bad idea.
Nah, bro. People just hate us. Sometimes they never want to see a black man come up. Be all right?
Let's go, shorty. You out of your league, champ. Shit.
Need y'all to lock up. I gotta figure this out.
You good, son? What happened?
Crazy. I feel
Okay, hold this up.
I wonder if I made the right decision moving my family across the country, back to Brooklyn.
Okay. First of all, we are a team, okay? There is no I here. And second of all, this is going to work out. It is going to be fine. Everything is going to be okay, babe. You have to believe me.
Lady, allow me to introduce myself. Franklin. My friends call me after.
Nice to meet you, Franklin.
So, what you doing?
Just working on my blog.
Yeah? Is there a sneaker blog? I love sneaker blogs. What's it called?
Soul Kings.
That's a dope name.
Thanks.
Come on, babe. You have to trust me. Can you get the door, please? Hey. Yeah. Thanks again. I owe you. And remember, please don't tell Darren.
Baby! You're not gonna believe this. Trey, get the crew together. We're back.
I love shoes, everybody knows it. If you don't, yup, my Instagram shows it. I love sneakers, the new smell. I'm addicted, I need help. You heard that? Heard what I said? Yup, that's right, I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. I'm a little kid sneakerhead. The first time I went to Foot Locker, I saw some real fresh shoes on the little key wall. So I said, Mommy, can I please try them on? And then she said, for what? Cause you ain't getting none. It really doesn't matter, I just want them on my feet. I wanna walk around in the store for a whole week. They got them out the back, they brought them in a stack. I started shaking, almost had me a heart attack. My mom told me calm down, before she tell him never mind, let me leave now. But I was so happy I couldn't see how. She would expect me just to sit down, but I had to listen.
No, I had this girl come in. I had two of these. Like, I think we were younger, but from LA, and first they were stealing garnishes, like, and I was like, guys, right? Yeah. And I was like, guys, like, it's really not a free salad bar. You gotta, you know, really, if you just ask me, like, I'll probably give it to you anyways. But cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
I want you.
Thank you.
Oh, very nice.
And then they calm down a little bit, but then she gets up to say something, like whisper something in my ear, and gets up on the bar, knocks a glass over with her breasts, which breaks into my well. So I've got ice in my well.
Typical Friday.
Right? Yeah. And then she went back and like tried to steal another cucumber from the jar, and I was like, okay, you guys, I've had it. I can't deal with it anymore. Like, I was trying to be nice, but it's time to go. Here's your check. I'll see you soon.
I remember my first job bartending. I was working for BRIC, and we did tons of margaritas, and we had like all these blueberry margaritas, mango, prickly pears, all these fruit garnishes. So it was like my first job, and this big guy came over, and he's having margaritas, and he's being great ordering all these drinks, but he's like right in front of my service station, and he just starts going for these blueberries, and it's like literally day 2 on the job for me, and I'm like,
Are you kidding me?
And I go to my boss, I'm like, what do I do? What do I tell him? And he's like, don't worry, I got this. He goes over, he's like, dude, this is a service station. You can't be eating these fruits, and this isn't kind of like a buffet. But he said it in a nice way.
Right.
The guy's like, sure, sorry about that. And that was great. But to tie it up, I went to a bar the other day, and I was actually standing by the garnishes. And for a second there, I almost felt like that guy. So I just literally, like, because I got like the urge, I was like, wow, those oranges look really good. So I just ended up standing on the other side of the service station. I'm like, I'm not allowed to be by the garnishes.
So
I'm having,
exactly.
I'm having drinks.
Situation.
I'm not going to stand by the garnishes. I don't want to be that guy.
I think that's the biggest thing for me too. It's just that like self-awareness and just a little, you know, being thoughtful.
Hey man.
Yeah.
Can I get an extra olive?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Have 3. Cheers, brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got it. You know, it's all those little things of like, it changed, like, those are the only things that really bother me, is if you're not being considerate, you know?
I don't know, like the guy who comes up to the bar and wants to close his credit card after every round, and you say to him like, Nate, if you're gonna be here for a while, you know, just leave it behind the bar. It's easier. And then it's like, oh no, I'm just gonna close it this time. This is my last one.
So what can I get for you?
Yeah, can I get a vodka tonic?
Yeah, do you want to just keep that open?
Nah, you can close it. I don't want to forget it.
Okay. Another vodka tonic? Yeah, you want to keep this open?
Nah, this is my last drink.
Okay. Another vodka tonic for you?
Yeah.
You want to keep it open this time?
Nah, this is definitely my last drink.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I swear, and then 20 minutes later, he's back again.
Right, ordering the exact same drink.
Thing. Right, and he says, close it.
The amount of paperwork that you have to do, and just paper itself that you've just wasted.
Exactly.
In,
I had
like,
a buddy who would
going
be
through
like, save a tree, dude. That's what he would say. He's like, really? Save a tree.
Have you ever had anybody that's like actually like reached over and like grabbed you or like given you like, hey, like,
I think the worst was the snap.
That's always.
Those are weird.
That's
yeah.
only because you don't really know how to. It's like, did you just snap?
Am I a puppy?
Yeah.
You're like calling me
Hey,
over?
Hey, bro, hey, bro, what's your name?
Hey,
what's
how
your
are you
name?
doing?
I'm good, man. Can I get a dark and stormy?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get you going.
Thanks.
I don't know. I guess I kind of understand when people have money or credit cards that they're like
I was just
trying to
thinking,
let you know that
I'm still working
ready,
that out.
but I
like,
still don't. I don't like it
50
at
on
all.
the fence, yeah.
Right.
You know when people like wave money at you at the bar?
Right.
You know, I feel like I'm in a strip club. It's just, I don't know how to react. It's like, I see you, I know you want a drink, I've turned around and I've said, I see you, I'll be right with you. And they're just like, hello.
But part of me just wants to take the 20, put it on the till, and go back to work and be like, I'll get to you
No,
in
that was
1
just
second.
for me,
Yeah,
apparently.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a nice little tip for me.
I'm still working that one out.
Yeah. Okay, how about this one? When you get somebody on the other side of the bar and they want to let you know that they
bartended in college or somewhere in the past
Right.
for 3 months somewhere, and it's like, great, I'm happy for you. I'm great, you know. But anytime I go into a bar, even though I work behind the bar, I never tell the guy I work behind the bar. It's just, you know.
It takes a while before that would pop up, and I appreciate when it's slow and there's the one guy who's, you know, in by himself. It's like, I don't really have anything going on. I know you're here by yourself. Let's rap. Let's just chat and we can talk about whatever. But it's that point when you get busy and you've got 5 more people came down and sat at your bar and he's still just like,
Yeah, so basically I graduated from 2 colleges and I broke up with both those girlfriends. After that I started splitting time between DC and Seattle. That was around the time my mom needed knee surgery. Or actually, she's my stepmom, but we're really close. Oh no, wait, I got a good one for you.
like, no. And I told Mabel, and Mabel says to me that I'm like, I got a bunch of other people to talk to
Or
right
the
now.
guy who wants to check out every top shelf bottle off the bar top.
Right. Could I
Not
see
to
that?
actually drink it.
No, just
but
read- just
you know,
read the label.
Read it, great, ask you about the tasting notes, give it back to you, and then he just works his way across. That's always like,
yeah,
count to 10. Yeah.
There's a lot of meditation that goes on behind the bar. I mean, people on their phone at the bar. I get when you're sitting there and you're on your phone. I think the thing for me that's like the irritating part is when somebody comes up to the bar to order and then is like talking to somebody. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, because I'm not going to talk to you if you're just sitting there on your phone, literally right now. Like, hey man, what can I get for you?
Yeah, could I get 2 red wines?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, just give me a second though. Hey, yeah. Okay, do you have tequila sunrise?
Yeah.
All right, one of those. Hold on, one sec. Yeah, what does Joe want? Yeah, do you have Incredible Hulks?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, one of those. One sec. Yeah, hey, what does Nancy want? Yeah, okay. Do you have absinthe?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just give me 1 minute.
Be right with you. How are we doing, man?
Can I get a Corpse Reviver number 2, 2 rye old fashions, and 2 dark and stormies?
Absolutely. Let me get that going for you.
Great.
I'll be right back with you. It's such simple little things to be that person at the bar.
Yeah, people
that you
who
want
just
to,
get it. And the moment they realize it's a dialogue, not an order, but like they work with you, it's like perfect, you're golden.
Hey, thanks for a great night, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for coming in. Hey, you want a little shot on me?
Sure.
Awesome, man. No, it was great having you come in. Good talking to you. Come back anytime, man.
Definitely.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, man, I've been here all night. How about 1 on the house?
You know what? Here's your check. You have a great night, buddy.
Dream of the things you'll never know. Oh, dream of the beauty within your soul. George Floyd! When you dream, dream slow. Take the time to let dreams grow. Just dream, just dream, just dream.
For a blink moment in time, people are aware of what they're feeling every day.
If you're going to restore and sustain a democracy, there must be an informed and engaged citizenry.
I spent 2 years in immigration detention. You know how much they spent to feed me for 1 whole day?
How much?
75 cents.
Immigrants as a whole, migration as a whole, is associated with lower rates of crime. Immigrants make our communities safer.
What causes climate change, the selling and burning of fossil fuels, benefits most the power elite. And so they have a disincentive to address it, and they have an incentive to deny it.
They're not going to funnel more money into our schools. They're not going to do it unless they have to, right? And the way they have to is by our participation, our organization, us taking accountability for our actions.
to Care. Thank you again for joining us. This is our 3rd month. Please practice social distancing. Please make sure that you are apart from each other. Please be patient. No rushing. Keep your mask on, please. We Up to Care is an initiative that our board chair, Ms. Celia, and myself, with the regular general membership and the president, had put together. We know that there's a need in our community, and we got together. We decided to start this initiative about early May. We've been doing this every Wednesday. We've been feeding approximately 300 to 400 people every Wednesday. And you can see that, you know, there are senior citizens within the community, single moms, single families. You know, it's amazing to be able to provide a hot meal. Everybody should care about what goes on in your community. We have the census going on. We've got elections coming up. We've got a lot of things on that is on the line for our community, Black and brown communities. And it's important for us to be all hands on deck when it comes to those decisions. What happens to our legislation, what happens to our education, what happens to our community, what happens to our programs. Because we have to be able to foster and encourage our youth to be able to be productive citizens and learn from our examples. And since May, we have fed completely over 4,500 people in our community from Crown Heights, East Flatbush, mainly senior citizens and those who are inbound, delivering food to them, hot food, resources, and other items that they need, PPE, to be able to secure themselves while staying in at home. And with this COVID relief response, it allows you to still participate, get out of that self-isolation, help most people who are dealing with mental health and wellness issues to be able to uplift themselves and be able to participate as if they were out. That goes a long way as it relates to COVID relief.
We try our best to organize with everybody out here, print out flyers and go to each building and start giving out flyers so you know the anchor having something. So everybody will come and get what they're supposed to get. Some communities might do it, some might not do it. But we making sure the people we have will get.
So I always tell people I give for selfish reasons because it makes me feel good. And providing a hot meal is something that no one could really imagine. Some people will have it and some people don't, and you can never tell.
It's about love, and that's what we are. You know, this year our theme is about bringing back the love. This is love, right? You have 15 to 20 volunteers that come out their house every Wednesday, taking a risk. We wear facial masks, we wear gloves, but they show their love and their passion, and they care about the seniors in our community. They care about the community itself. So we take our time, and we're very proud of that. It matters to me because it's the way I was raised. You know, it's family. It's a family thing. You know, my mom always said, you know, you have a little share, and it's always be multiple. And I'm very blessed with that.
Sugar Candy Mask, and I actually got it from a designer, Ashley, and its section is Eve Designer Solutions, and he's a Haitian designer, and Ashley hooked me up with all the beading. I've been playing with sugar candy for like 2 years, so I want to thank you guys so much for getting me this costume and hooking your girl up out here on the 52nd Wanaka Labor Day Parade.
So how long did it take you to get this going?
Let's see, between last night and this morning, I don't know. They did a great job designing and getting this all studded up for me with the great fabrics and stuff, so I'm excited.
All right, so just, so what are you most excited about in terms of your what you're wearing?
I I really do like gold. My makeup artist, Saran, she did an amazing job on me because I wanted to actually emulate the Serena Williams Essence photo shoot, her cover thing, so I kind of did a half face, but I stayed true and kept to my colors, red and blue. Chaque passé, my Haitian, tout somewhere I lie.
Alright.
Tout some. I love you guys. I know the Haitian truck is gonna take over. Love you guys much.
This is a demonstration of strength and power as it relates to migrants of color from around the world. When we get together like this and have one of the largest parades in the city of New York, it demonstrates our commitment to each other and the African diaspora, and it also shows how strong we are and how beautiful we are.
This is so significant because as people of African descent, so many people are here from the Caribbean, African Americans, people of the continent of Africa. It's so important because part of what happened to us is that we were enslaved. We were robbed of our history, our culture, our traditions. And here today is a rejoining, a reconnection of people from all over the diaspora coming together as one people.
The parade of this nature sent a very strong and powerful message of what America should be about. A country of unity, a country where people from all over the world come together to contribute to make America what it is today.
The vibrancy, the creativity, the geniusness of people of African descent that are here in America. It shows the importance of immigrants to our country, and it shows the importance of what we have contributed.
The demographics in the borough of Brooklyn are changing quickly. So while they're changing, you need to see yourself in all its glory. And I always bring my children here. They had to start school early this year and in different places, so I wasn't able to bring them, but they look forward to it because they see themselves. Short, tall, light skin, dark skin, long hair, natural hair. Like, they get to see the vast array of themselves. That's incredibly important because obviously the world is trying to portray images of us that don't necessarily represent us. But when you come here, you get to see yourself in your entirety, and that's great for not only my kids, but kids in this borough and in this city.
And that's so important that we recognize that we are truly one people, that we're celebrating our traditions, we're creating new cultures and new traditions and new ways of celebrating our history. So today is so important, and I love to see children here because it means that we're passing it down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I'm true Trini to the bone. I was born in Trinidad and came to America when I was 1. So I've been a part of the festival for as long as it's been here.
From the perspective of arts and culture and growing up with it, you know, now 50 plus years, why does this tradition need to continue to happen in Brooklyn?
Because this is what Brooklyn is all about. Brooklyn is a melting pot of all the different cultures, all the different Caribbean islands, all of the different people right here in Brooklyn. This parade, out of anything, represents all of that. It's a hodgepodge of everything.
And it's what New York is about.
It's absolutely what New York City is about.
folks. I'm Aaron Watkins, and I just have one question. Where Brooklyn at? Now our pit stop today is the Brooklyn Children's Museum in the heart of Crown Heights. And Brooklyn's Caribbean community is coming together today to kick off events to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the West Indian American Labor Day Parade. It's fun in the sun. You ready? Let's do this.
The West Indian community in Brooklyn and in New York has such a profound impact on the cultural vibrancy of the city. Having Wyatka here in the museum means so much to us, the partnerships that we've had throughout the years, and introducing the different cultures of the world, the different cultures of the Caribbean to young people is essential, a foundation to any cultural education that a child could receive.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm representing the colors of brilliant colors for love and happiness. And then I'm Queen of Labor Day for 9 years. I won 9 consecutive years. And I look forward each and every year to play my costume because it's a sense of my culture that I want to, dance and, to bring in people, let them come and have a good time, and, dance on the stage. And so I always look forward to it every year.
I was here for the first carnival. No. So we're talking about 50 years ago. I first came to this country.
No, day one.
Yes, from day one. So I know, and it's near and dear to me. Part of it is that it gave me my identity. Right? As a teenager, you're coming to a new place. Your parents pluck you and bring you anyway. You have no other choice. But the carnival gave me my sense of self. And I'm so glad for it. I give thanks to Mr. Lazama for even thinking about it, for us to have a place that we can call our own. And so it's important for us to just hand it off, pass it on.
Can you tell us first, what island are you from? And can you tell us about the added security this year for the festival?
I'm a descendant of Haiti. So Haiti, what Sakpase, Nakule. And I can tell you about the added security is that, the city of New York is really careful and really supports the West Indian Day Carnival parade. And we want to make sure that there's enough security to make sure the vendors and the participants are safe.
What are some of the biggest challenges in promoting and marketing and successfully running an event like this each year?
Because we have had some negative publicity associated with the previous Juve's incidences, which are actually no relation to our organization and association, while we are all promoting Caribbean culture, it has affected community partners buying in and helping us and getting funds to put on this big event.
We're fortunate. We've not had any issues or incidents at the parade for some time now. This year, the Juve will end at 11 o'clock, and the carnival will begin at 11 o'clock as it traditionally will, and we'll be out the Parkway at 6 o'clock. So hopefully we will not have any issues, because every time there is an issue, you have that ripple effect.
It's not about the event being violent. It's about that we have a problem in America, with violence. Now, if we're talking about violence, there's more violence during 4th of July. So I never hear anybody say, let's shut down 4th of July.
We're making an impact to show that we can be who we are, whatever we want, doctors, lawyers, and that we're a contributing factor to society.
Today we are hosting our Soca Explosion class here on Coney Island Boardwalk. This is our 4th year doing it. We have started our program in the Brooklyn community because there was a high number of heart disease, there was a high number of diabetes, there was a high number of obesity.
Soca is the music of summer, and the summer is really an opportunity for our programs to really come outside and have a great time.
And within that program, when we coordinated the music and we put the fitness and the cardio together, they loved it. They came every week.
The kind of community that FitBK has is just like no other.
And you know, we have a lot of women, at least 90% women in our program. And you know, so just having that support and knowing that we can understand. A lot of our members have no longer have diabetes. They're no longer type 1, type 2, or type 3 diabetes. A lot of them are better with the, heart disease wise. A lot of them have lost a lot of weight. And Brooklyn needs this.
I pretty much have been involved with this group almost since it started. So it's about 6 years that I've been with them. You see the transformation in everyone. You meet wonderful people. It's like a tight-knit family. The health fitness community is a huge community. And the more you're out there, the more people you meet. Everyone has a story. Everyone wants to do the same thing. And that's promote healthiness for us. It's a confidence booster. It transcends all aspects of your life. You feel better about yourself, and you're just happier and healthier.
From the business end, it is great to have a free class like this because what it does is ensure that the participants are healthier. Healthier people with primary care means less secondary care. What do I mean by that? If you work out more, then you're less likely to get high blood pressure and diabetes, which in turn will put you on secondary care, which now is the pills to maintain you. I live in the communities and I don't feel like we do enough. So as a company, but as a person, I try my best to educate, influence my community because for Sunday our dinner is big. The serving size is big. We don't take into consideration what we put inside our body because if we don't finish our meal, my mother is going to be upset because she made this wonderful meal. And so it starts with the education. The more we work out, if I come with my daughter and if I take my mother, all 3 members of the household now is getting primary care.
You kind of forget that you're working out because you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying the music, you're enjoying the dance moves. So they have all of the tools that they need to get the goal that they want to reach.
So again, welcome to BRIC Care. Thank you again for joining us. This is our 3rd month. Please practice social distancing. Please make sure that you are apart from each other. Please be patient. No rushing. Keep your mask on, please.
BRIC Care is an initiative that our board chair, Ms. Celia, and myself, with the regular general membership, and the president had put together. We know that there's a need in our community, and we got together. We decided to start this initiative about early May. We've been doing this every Wednesday. We've been feeding approximately 300 to 400 people every Wednesday. And you can see that, you know, there are senior citizens within the community, single moms, single families. You know, it's amazing to be able to provide a hot meal.
Everybody should care about what goes on in your community. We have the census going on. We've got elections coming up. We got a lot of things on that is on the line for our community, Black and brown communities. And it's important for us to be all hands on deck when it comes to those decisions. What happens to our legislation, what happens to our education, what happens to our community, what happens to our programs. Because we have to be able to foster and encourage our youth to be able to be productive citizens and learn from our examples. And since May, we have fed completely over 4,500 people in our community from Crown Heights, East Flatbush, mainly senior citizens and those who are inbound, delivering food to them, hot food, resources, and other items that they need, PPE, to be able to secure themselves while staying in at home. And with this COVID relief response, it allows you to still participate, get out of that self-isolation, help most people who are dealing with mental health and wellness issues to be able to uplift themselves and be able to participate as if they were out. That goes a long way as it relates to COVID relief.
We try our best to organize with everybody out here, print out flyers and go to each building and start giving out flyers so you know the anchor having something. So everybody will come and get what they're supposed to get. Some communities might do it, some mightn't do it. But we making sure the people who we have will get.
So I always tell people I give for selfish reasons because it makes me feel good. And providing a hot meal is something that no one could really imagine. Some people will have it and some people don't, and you can never tell.
It's about love, and that's what we are. You know, this year our theme is about bringing back the love. This is love, right? You have 15 to 20 volunteers that come out their house every Wednesday, taking a risk. We wear facial masks, we wear gloves, but they show their love and their passion, and they care about the seniors in our community. They care about the community itself. So we take our time, and we're very proud of that. It matters to me because it's the way I was raised. You know, it's family. It's a family thing. You know, my mom always said, you know, you have a little share, and it's always be multiple. And I'm very blessed with that.
Sugar Candy Mask, and I actually got it from a designer, Ashley, and its section is Eve Designer Solutions, and he's a Haitian designer, and Ashley hooked me up with all the beading. I've been playing with sugar candy for like 2 years, so I want to thank you guys so much for getting me this costume and hooking your girl up out here on the 52nd Wataka Labor Day Parade.
So how long did it take you to get this going?
Let's see, between last night and this morning, I don't know, they did a great job designing and getting this all studded up for me with the great fabrics and stuff, so I'm excited.
All right, so just, so what are you most excited about in terms of your what you're wearing?
I really do like gold. My makeup artist, Saran, she did an amazing job on me because I wanted to actually emulate the Serena Williams Essence photo shoot, her cover thing, so I kind of did a half face, but I stayed true and kept to my colors, red and blue. Chaque passé, my Haitian, tout somewhere I lie.
All right.
Tout some. I love you guys. I know the Haitian truck is going to take over. Love you guys much.
This is a demonstration of strength and power as it relates to migrants of color from around the world. When we get together like this and have one of the largest parades in the city of New York, it demonstrates our commitment to each other and the African diaspora, and it also shows how strong we are and how beautiful we are.
This is so significant because as people of African descent, so many people are here from the Caribbean, African Americans, people of the continent of Africa. It's so important because part of what happened to us is that we were enslaved. We were robbed of our history, our culture, our traditions, and here today is a rejoining, a reconnection of people from all over the diaspora coming together as one people.
The parade of this nature sent a very strong and powerful message of what America should be about. A country of unity, a country where people from all over the world come together to contribute to make America what it is today.
The vibrancy, the creativity, the geniusness of people of African descent that are here in America. It shows the importance of immigrants to our country, and it shows the importance of what we have contributed.
The demographics in the borough of Brooklyn are changing quickly. So while they're changing, you need to see yourself in all its glory. And I always bring my children here. They had to start school early this year and in different places, so I wasn't able to bring them, but they look forward to it because they see themselves. Short, tall, light skin, dark skin, long hair, natural hair. Like, they get to see the vast array of themselves. That's incredibly important because obviously the world is trying to portray images of us that don't necessarily represent us. But when you come here, you get to see yourself in your entirety, and that's great for not only my kids, but kids in this borough and in this city.
And that's so important that we recognize that we are truly one people, that we're celebrating our traditions, we're creating new cultures and new traditions and new ways of celebrating our history. So today is so important, and I love to see children here because it means that we're passing it down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I'm true Trini to the bone. I was born in Trinidad and came to America when I was 1. So I've been a part of the festival for as long as it's been here.
From the perspective of arts and culture and growing up with it, you know, now 50 plus years, why does this tradition need to continue to happen in Brooklyn?
Because this is what Brooklyn is all about. Brooklyn is a melting pot of all the different cultures, all the different Caribbean islands, all of the different people right here in Brooklyn. This parade, out of anything, represents all of that. It's a hodgepodge of everything.
And it's what New York is about.
It's absolutely what New York City is about.
Hey folks, I'm Aaron Watkins, and I just have one question. Where Brooklyn at? Now our pit stop today is the Brooklyn Children's Museum in the heart of Crown Heights. And Brooklyn's Caribbean community is coming together today to kick off events to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the West Indian American Labor Day Parade. It's fun in the sun. You ready? Let's do this.
The West Indian community in Brooklyn and in New York has such a profound impact on the cultural vibrancy of the city. Having Wayadka here in the museum means so much to us, the partnerships that we've had throughout the years, and introducing the different cultures of the world, the different cultures of the Caribbean to young people is essential, a foundation to any cultural education that a child could receive.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm representing the colors of brilliant colors for love and happiness. And then I'm Queen of Labor Day for 9 years. I won 9 consecutive years. And I look forward each and every year to play my costume because it's a sense of my culture that I want to, dance and, to bring in people, let them come and have a good time, and, dance on the stage. And so I always look forward to it every year.
I was here for the first carnival. No. So we're talking about 50 years ago. I first came to this country.
No, day one.
Yes, from day one. So I know, and it's near and dear to me. Part of it is that it gave me my identity. Right? As a teenager, you're coming to a new place. Your parents pluck you and bring you anyway. You have no other choice. But the carnival gave me my sense of self. And I'm so glad for it. I give thanks to Mr. Lazama for even thinking about it, for us to have a place that we can call our own. And so it's important for us to just hand it off, pass it on.
Can you tell us first, what island are you from? And can you tell us about the added security this year for the festival?
I'm a descendant of Haiti. So Haiti, what Sakpase, Nabule. And I can tell you about the added security is that, the city of New York is really careful and really supports the West Indian Day Carnival parade, and we want to make sure that there's enough security to make sure the vendors and the participants are safe.
What are some of the biggest challenges in promoting and marketing and successfully running an event like this each year?
Because we have had some negative publicity associated with the previous Juve's incidences, which are actually no relation to our organization and association, while we are all promoting Caribbean culture, it has affected community partners buying in and helping us and getting funds to put on this big event.
We're fortunate. We've not had any issues or incidents at the parade for some time now. This year, the Juve will end at 11 o'clock, and the carnival will begin at 11 o'clock as it traditionally will, and we'll be off the Parkway at 6 o'clock. So hopefully we will not have any issues, because every time there is an issue, you have that ripple effect.
It's not about the event being violent. It's about that we have a problem in America, with violence. Now, if we're talking about violence, there's more violence during 4th of July. So I never hear anybody say, let's shut down 4th of July.
We're making an impact to show that we can be who we are, whatever we want, doctors, lawyers, and that we're a contributing factor to society.
Soca Explosion class here on Coney Island Boardwalk. This is our 4th year doing it. We have started our program in the Brooklyn community because there was a high number of heart disease, there was a high number of diabetes, there was a high number of obesity.
Soca is the music of summer, and the summer is really an opportunity for our programs to really come outside and have a great time.
And within that program, when we coordinated the music and we put the fitness and the cardio together, they loved it. They came every week.
The kind of community that FitBK has is just like no other.
And you know, we have a lot of women, at least 90% women in our program. And you know, so just having that support and knowing that we can understand. A lot of our members have no longer have diabetes. They're no longer type 1, type 2, or type 3 diabetes. A lot of them are better with the, you know, heart disease wise. A lot of them have lost a lot of weight. And Brooklyn needs this.
I pretty much have been involved with this group almost since it started. So it's about 6 years that I've been with them. You see the transformation in everyone. You meet wonderful people. It's like a tight-knit family. It's the health fitness community is a huge community. And the more you're out there, the more people you meet. Everyone has a story. Everyone wants to do the same thing. And that's promote healthiness for us. It's a confidence booster. It transcends all aspects of your life. You feel better about yourself, and you're just happier and healthier.
From the business end, it is great to have a free class like this because what it does is ensure that the participants are healthier. Healthier people with primary care means less secondary care. What do I mean by that? If you work out more, then you're less likely to get high blood pressure and diabetes, which in turn will put you on secondary care, which now is the pills to maintain you. I live in the communities and I don't feel like we do enough. So as a company, but as a person, you know, I try my best to educate, influence my community because for Sunday our dinner is big. The serving size is big. We don't take into consideration what we put inside our body because if we don't finish our meal, my mother is going to be upset because she made this wonderful meal. And so it starts with the education. The more we work out, if I come with my daughter and if I take my mother, all 3 members of the household now is getting primary care.
You kind of forget that you're working out because you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying the music, you're enjoying the dance moves. So they have all of the tools that they need to get the goal that they want to reach.
Hi Brooklyn, I'm Stephen Allman, a private chef for the Triborough area, and this is Chef Roulette. We're headed to Brooklyn Fair to pick out the 5 secret ingredients that you guys have for me today. Let's get shopping. All right, so our secret ingredients for today, we got scallops, fava beans, trumpet mushrooms, kamados, and it looks like we got some mango in here too. I see fava beans right over here, so let's get started with that. All right, so our first ingredient we're picking up are the fava beans. You want to pick something that's a nice bright green color, not too bulbous. They tend to go a little bit light after their yield, so grab enough to get the whole family involved. So it looks like we found the trumpet mushrooms. You're gonna make sure to pick something that's not too dry. I think probably 3 should do us for today. We got the tomatoes here too. Here's our kamados. It's a nice tomato, looks really good, kind of like an heirloom color, and then it's a little bit sweeter in the flavors. how about your scallops? They good today? Let me get about 6 or 7 of those. Make them some nice fat guys. Beautiful. You too, buddy. All right, we got mangoes here. When I'm picking mangoes, I like to squeeze them, feel how soft they are. This one seems right nice in the middle, so we'll go with that one. Hey guys, we're at Brooklyn Foodworks, a fantastic new place for any kind of budding culinary artist, offering industry experts for advice, educational events, and a state-of-the-art kitchen. Let's see what we got. So we got some scallops. Next, we got some fava beans, some trumpet mushrooms, Kamado tomatoes, and then lastly, we got a nice ripe mango. So I've decided that we're gonna make a ceviche dish with the scallop, but also in accordance with that, we're gonna do one of my favorite dishes for dessert, black rice pudding. So with the fava bean, you're gonna take this and just pull it down like a little zipper, open it up, and then you find all your little beans inside. Think about these, you peel them once and then you gotta peel them again, but before we do that, you're gonna have to take these and blanch them in some water. So what I'm gonna do with these guys, we're gonna peel them down, marinate them in a little bit of oil, and then roast them off so they get a nice flavor to them. The trumpet mushroom is a little bit more woody and can take on a lot more flavors since it's a little bit more porous. So we'll dress this up with a little bit of olive oil, some salt, throw it in our sheet pan and let it roast up. I've set my oven to about 400, and we'll let it go for 5 to 10 minutes. The next thing that we're gonna break into are the Kamado tomatoes. So with these tomatoes, they originated in Spain and they have a little bit sweeter of a flavor. And we're gonna wind up bruleeing them. So we don't really do a whole lot, but we kind of bring out that sweetness. So it looks like our water's boiling for our favas, so let's go ahead and blanch them. You only want to let your favas go for about 30 seconds, just to help open up that peel so you can get them out. So again, we're blanching our fava beans. It helps get that outer shell off. We're going to drain them off, let them cool a little bit, and then pull this outer casing off to give us the meat inside. If you start at the top, you break that little top end nipple off, you can get this guy, which gives you all your meat. So with this, I'm going to make a gremolata. With that, we're going to have a little bit of citrus juice, a little bit of citrus zest, and some different herbs that I picked from my garden this morning. So we're going to continue to clean our fava beans. Once we have it set up, we're going to go on a nice little chop of these guys. We'll add that into our bowl. So for the mango, we're gonna leave that pretty much raw. A peeler is generally your best way to clean up a mango. Some people prefer to use knives, but I find you get a lot better yield when you use a peeler. Then we have some citrus zest that I peeled out right here. We're gonna give a really nice fine brunoise on this. Add it to our salad, and then we'll add a little bit of olive oil, salt, and a dash of citrus juice just to brighten it up a little bit. I grew up cooking from a very early age. It was how I got to stay home alone in the summers. But aside from that, my mom was really into food. I grew up in the South where everything was about food. Funerals, weddings, birthday parties, whatever it was. You were only as good as your dishes that you had there. Take this basil, a little bit of our parsley, give it a little bit of olive oil, some salt, and we'll squeeze a lime in there just for some good flavor. Give that a stir. We're gonna let that marinate until we have our final dish ready. So next we can move on to our scallop dish. So when you have your scallops, you're gonna find a little foot on the end. This part's really tough. It's not inedible, it's just kind of not nice to eat. So we're gonna take all those, we're gonna peel them off and get them nice and clean. Since we're gonna do a quick ceviche, I'm gonna go ahead and score these on top. So you just want to do a very light incision, do a crosshatch, and it lets all that citrus juice that we're going to put on really get in there. So we'll take our scallops, set them down in the bowl right here. I like to use lemons and limes for my ceviches, but it's nice to also incorporate an orange for a little bit of sweetness. So we have our scallops in here. We're going to give them a little toss, add a little bit of the olive oil in there, and we're going to let those set up. While we got that going, let's go ahead and check on our mushrooms again. So yeah, these dried up really nice, kind of like I wanted. So now we're going to go ahead and brulee our tomatoes. I have a turbinado sugar right here. We're going to give a nice coat on each side. Use our torch. So brulee is just French for burnt. So what we're going to do is with our sugar, we're just going to caramelize it. So you want to go until you start seeing a nice dark color. And in the end, you'll have a really nice crust. So let's build the dish. We're going to take our nice little trumpet crisps, have a nice little mound of the fava bean gremolata for our scallops to sit on, and sit them on top. I feel like we got kind of the sweet, savory, salty, everything in there, so I'm going to add a little bit of togarashi on top just to give a little bit of heat. Togarashi is an Asian spice of ground up red pepper and a couple other spices. You can find it at any basic Asian supermarket. Okay, so now that we have our first dish done, we're gonna move on to the black rice pudding. So you wanna take your rice, we got about a cup and a half here. I'm gonna throw that in, and then you wanna do 2 to 1 on water. We're gonna put that on a medium-high heat. Give it a little cover, and we're gonna let that go for about 14 minutes. Check it, see about how much the water's gone down. Then we'll uncover it, cook it maybe for about 10 more, and see the consistency of the rice. Don't worry about black rice, because you can always drain off some of the water. So next, we can go ahead and get on our coconut milk, which is gonna be for our dessert. With this, I like to take the coconut milk, warm it up a little bit, and then steep it with a pandan leaf. So pandan leaf is from the forests of Thailand. It gives it kind of an earthy background. We have our coconut milk, we have our heavy cream, and we're gonna just start our pan off on a low flame. So this is the coconut milk that we steeped it with the pandan leaf, pulled it out, add in some of our black rice. Add your heavy cream. So we're gonna add some sugar, some salt, and let that cook down a little bit. In the end, it's a very beautiful dish for you to have for dessert. And there you go, a great little Asian dessert. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Steve.
I hear you're gonna be tasting all my food today.
I'm excited.
Awesome, me too.
This looks amazing. Presentation is everything to me, and already I'm excited to eat it.
Oh, well, good.
All
I'm
right,
glad.
let's
Enjoy.
go. Thank you. All right, let's try a scallop here. Kind of nervous. It's very mild in flavor, melts in your mouth. Let's try the mango here. It's very sweet and sour, very zesty and tangy, which I love. The scallops, very smooth in texture. Okay, let's try the dessert. That is so good. That's really amazing. It's very sweet and subtle. It's really amazing.
Once again, I'm Stephen Alman, and this is Chef Roulette. Thanks for watching.
Hey, yo, I'm chillin' on the late night. I ain't even doing much. Probably put a movie on. Maybe hit a couple blunts. Homies in the jack, asking where the hell you at. Pretend the cut is jumping, come and meet me in the back. So I hopped into the D-Ride, whipped it to the bar. Passed with the po-po, sitting in his car. Now I'm hoping I ain't got a warrant on my head. Cause then he pulled me over, rolled my window down and said, Mr. Officer, I ain't got nothing on me. Except this middle finger screaming at the police. And I don't give a damn about your badge or your gun. So if you try to touch me, best believe I'm gon' run. Mr. Officer, I ain't got nothing on me. Except this middle finger screaming at the police. And I don't give a damn about your badge or your gun. So if you try to touch me, best believe I'm gon' run. Goes back to the scene, man, I done had enough. 40 minutes in, it's like he's trying to set me up. Thinking to myself like, this is unbelievable. Then he told me, sir, please step out of the vehicle. Look inside my window, asked me, what the hell is this? Started walking to me while he's reaching for his hip. I'm like this. Time to make a decision quick, cause I'm either getting hit or I'ma hit him with the dip. Mr. Officer, I ain't got nothing on me. Except this middle finger screaming at the police. And I don't give a damn about your badge or your gun. So if you try to touch me, best believe I'm gon' run. Mr. Officer, I ain't got nothing on me. Except this middle finger screaming at the police. And I don't give a damn about your badge or your gun. So if you try to touch me, best believe I'm gon' run. Yo, I drove inside the whip, quick slammed the car door. Sped up on the cover, put the pedal to the floor. Car started racing, I ain't even take the wheel. My heart steady racing, but these nerves are made of steel. Now I'm feeling like I'm OJ, pulling out the driveway, doing 120 in a Bronco on the highway. Fuck a pit maneuver, better get up out the way. Fuck the police, it's still all I gotta say.
For a blink moment in time, people are aware of what they're feeling every day.
If you're going to restore and sustain a democracy, there must be an informed and engaged citizenry.
I spent 2 years in immigration detention. You know how much they spent to feed me for one whole day?
How much?
75 cents.
Immigrants as a whole, migration as a whole, is associated with lower rates of crime. Immigrants make our communities safer.
What causes climate change, the selling and burning of fossil fuels, benefits most the power elite. And so they have a disincentive to address it, and they have an incentive to deny it.
They're not going to funnel more money into our schools. They're not going to do it unless they have to, right? And the way they have to is by our participation, our organization, us taking accountability for our actions.
I
As per U.S. law, any child bought or sold into the sex trade is a victim of human trafficking.
Why is the first time I'm hearing about this?
On the same websites where you sell a couch, there are sections to buy people.
Really?
And up to half of these victims are boys. There is no such thing as a child prostitute, only a victim of exploitation. And it could be anyone.
She's talking about me. Should I say something?
Welcome to East New York. I'm going to show you the amazing businesses. Let's go say hi to Miguel, the best hot chocolate in East New York. Vito!
It's not like a customer, it's like a family to me now.
Day You Travel came to the community with only one little desk, and now he owns the whole building. This is a community of opportunities. Hello! The health of the neighborhood is also places like the Cypress Hill Senior Center. We have a little bit of everything here, and everyone feels like family here. East New York is family to me now.
From New York, this is Democracy Now!
The most astonishing thing was when one of the justices asked the government lawyer, will you allow Abu Zubaydah to testify? It was a stunning question. And the answer was even more stunning. Well, he's being held in Guantanamo. And the justice said, why doesn't he file a habeas petition? Well, he has filed a habeas petition 14 years ago.
The torture cover-up continues. We'll look at Wednesday's Supreme Court oral arguments about Guantanamo prisoner Abu Zubaydah, who was waterboarded over 80 times at a secret CIA black site. The Biden administration argues key details about his torture are state secrets, including the role of two psychologists, Mitchell and Jessen, who designed the torture program. We'll get the latest. Then to Ethiopia.
CNN can reveal, based on documentary evidence and witnesses' accounts, Ethiopian Airlines has been transporting weapons between Ethiopia and Eritrea since the beginning of the war in Ethiopia that has seen thousands killed.
We'll speak to award-winning CNN reporter Naima Abaria about how Ethiopia used its flagship commercial airlines, Ethiopian Airlines, to transport weapons during the war in Tigray. But first, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the near-total ban on abortion in Texas. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In Texas, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the state's near-total ban on abortions, granting the Justice Department's emergency request to halt the law while courts consider its legality. In his ruling, Judge Robert Pittman slammed the Texas ban's unconstitutionality, writing, quote, "This court will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an important right." We'll have more on the story after headlines. On Capitol Hill, Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said Wednesday he would allow an emergency extension of the federal debt limit that would put off the risk of a U.S. default until December. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says a vote is likely today. The World Health Organization's endorsed a first-of-its-kind vaccine against malaria for children in sub-Saharan Africa. The WHO said the vaccine proved to be safe and reduced severe malaria by 30% in children enrolled in a pilot program in Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus called the vaccine a major victory in the fight against one of the world's worst infectious diseases.
This long-awaited malaria vaccine is a breakthrough for science, child health, and malaria control. Using this vaccine in addition to existing tools to prevent malaria could save tens of thousands of young lives each year.
It's the first vaccine ever approved for use against a parasitic disease. Malaria claims the lives of about 500,000 people each year, half of whom are children in Africa. The United States reported more than 2,500 COVID-19 deaths Wednesday, even as new cases continue to fall from a summer peak. With the latest deaths, the U.S. has now recorded more COVID fatalities in 2021 than in all of 2020. The White House said Wednesday it would spend $1 billion to purchase at-home rapid antigen tests in response to an ongoing nationwide shortage. Los Angeles City Council has approved a measure requiring people entering indoor public spaces and large outdoor gatherings to provide proof of vaccination. In Colorado, the UC Health Hospital system says it will deny organ transplants to patients who refuse to get vaccinated for COVID-19. Most transplant centers already require patients to receive other vaccinations, like for hepatitis and measles, and routinely make organ recipients pledge to abstain from tobacco and alcohol. In Afghanistan, a UN agency will start paying to keep the country's fragile healthcare infrastructure afloat after the flow of international aid dollars, which the health sector relied on, dried up following the Taliban takeover in August. This includes paying the salaries of at least 25,000 health workers. Last month, the Biden administration granted special licenses to some organizations, including the UN, to engage in transactions with the Taliban, which is under U.S. sanctions. Meanwhile, the humanitarian situation is becoming increasingly dire. This is Afghanistan Director of the World Food Programme, Mary Ellen McGroarty.
The 38 million Afghans who still live in the country are adjusting to a new reality. It is incredibly sad, and over the weeks, a humanitarian crisis has just escalated and magnified at an incredible pace. It's a crisis that has its roots in decades of conflict and the increasing pressures of climate change.
The United Nations Secretary General has appointed Staffan de Mistura of Italy as his personal envoy for Western Sahara. The appointment comes after the post went vacant for over 2 years. Morocco's occupied Western Sahara since 1975 in defiance of the United Nations and international law. Over the past 4 decades, thousands of Western Sahara's indigenous people, the Sahrawi, have been tortured, imprisoned, killed, and disappeared while resisting the Moroccan occupation. To see our exclusive documentary, 4 Days in Western Sahara, Africa's Last Colony, go to democracynow.org. Back in the United States, the Education Department is temporarily expanding student loan forgiveness for public service workers. The move is expected to benefit 550,000 people, including teachers, social workers, military members, and others who were previously not included in the public service loan forgiveness program. In Texas, a crude oil spill Wednesday at the Marathon Galveston Bay refinery near Houston is prompting even more calls to break free from fossil fuel dependence. This comes as Southern California confronts one of its worst-ever oil spills from an underwater pipeline. Meanwhile, a recent study by the International Monetary Fund found the fossil fuel industry receives subsidies of $11 million per minute, despite pledges by world leaders to fight the climate catastrophe. The Biden administration is restoring several key provisions to the National Environmental Policy Act related to the review process of infrastructure projects. The environmental and community safeguards were gutted last year under the Trump administration. A federal appeals court has blocked a California law banning private prisons, arguing it infringes on federal authority over immigration policy. The California law, which went into effect last year, bans new and renewed contracts with private prisons and phases out all private facilities by 2028, including immigration jails run on behalf of ICE. That's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The state of California says it'll appeal the latest ruling. A school shooting in Arlington, Texas Wednesday left 4 people injured. The suspect, an 18-year-old student, has been taken into custody. The attack sparked renewed calls to tighten Texas's gun laws. Last month, the state's permitless gun law went into effect, which allows people to carry firearms without a license as long as they have no priors with state or federal law. In Colorado, workers at 5 Amazon warehouses are seeking class action status for a lawsuit alleging the retail giant refused to pay them for time spent at employee-mandated COVID-19 screenings before the start of their shifts. The workers say beginning in March 2020, they routinely waited in long lines for up to 1 hour to answer questions about their symptoms and have their temperatures checked. More than 10,000 workers were affected. Under Colorado law, workers must be paid when they're required to be on their employer's premises or on duty. Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders is pushing back against Senator Joe Manchin after the West Virginia Democrat said he would oppose much of President Biden's $3.5 trillion 10-year budget reconciliation package known as the Build Back Better Act. Manchin told reporters last week he doesn't want to create a, quote, entitlement society. On Wednesday, Senator Sanders said U.S. working families should be entitled to child care, universal pre-K, affordable prescription drugs, dental and vision benefits, free community college, and a world free from catastrophic climate change. Sanders called on Manchin to make it clear which of these proposals he wants to cut.
The time is long overdue for him to tell us with specificity, not generalities, we're beyond generalities, with specificity, what he wants and what he does not want, and to explain that to the people of West Virginia and America.
This week, immigrants and their supporters began a 4-day round-the-clock sleep-out protest outside the Brooklyn home of Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer. They're demanding the Senate Majority Leader overrule the Senate parliamentarian and include immigration policy in the Build Back Better budget reconciliation package. This is Alejandra Marin, an undocumented essential worker member of the group New Immigrant Community Empowerment.
We need a change in the laws in this country. We need Congress, President Biden, Kamala, Schumer. We are here in front of your house asking for immigration reform for the 11 million undocumented. We are the backbone, the foundation of this economy. We deserve justice. We deserve equality. We deserve human respect as people, as human beings, as essential workers of this country. For that reason, I'm here with all of you today to fight for a just immigration reform for all immigrants and essential workers of this country.
And the 2021 Nobel Prize in Literature will be awarded to Tanzanian novelist Aburaza Karna. The Nobel Committee cited his, quote, uncompromising and compassionate penetration of the effects of colonialism and the fate of the refugee in the gulf between cultures and continents, unquote. Gurna is the first Black African writer to win a Nobel Prize since Wole Soyinka in 1986. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In Texas, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the state's near-total ban on abortions, granting the Justice Department's emergency request to halt the law while courts consider its legality. In his ruling, Judge Robert Pittman slammed the Texas ban's unconstitutionality, writing, quote, from the moment SBA went into effect, women have been unlawfully prevented from exercising control over their lives in ways that are protected by the Constitution. That other courts may find a way to avoid this conclusion is theirs to decide. This court will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an important right. Judge Pittman also accused Texas lawmakers of, quote, pursuing an unprecedented and aggressive scheme to deprive its citizens of a significant and well-established constitutional right. We go now to Boston, where we're joined by Amy Littlefield, the abortion access correspondent at The Nation. Her recent article on Texas is headlined, "This is what the first hours of a near-total ban on abortion look like." Amy, first talk about the significance of this judge's ruling and what it will mean for Texas.
Well, Judge Robert Pittman, Amy, ruled and said what advocates in Texas and clinic operators in Texas have been saying all along, that Senate Bill 8 which was in effect a near total ban on abortion in the state of Texas, is flagrantly unconstitutional. That the attempt to sort of make an end run around the courts by using civil lawsuits to enforce this law was something that this judge could transparently see through, that this was about banning abortion, which is not allowed under the Constitution as, you know, it's currently interpreted by the courts. However, it's important to note that this is not the final word. And we also don't know exactly how clinics are going to put this ruling into practice. Senate Bill 8, which bans abortion after embryonic cardiac activity can be detected, which happens at between 5 and 7 weeks of pregnancy, which is 1 to 3 weeks after a missed period. Many clinics, most clinics in the state had continued providing abortions up until cardiac activity. Planned Parenthood of South Texas, for example, actually stopped providing all abortions because they were afraid of getting sued under this law. So we don't know exactly how all of the different abortion providers in Texas are going to move after this ruling. But I know Whole Woman's Health, an independent clinic that has been out in front fighting Senate Bill 8 from the beginning, has said they're going to move as quickly as possible to start resuming abortions, even though the law has this sort of hidden, you know, Russian nesting doll provision that actually allows, even though there's a preliminary injunction in place, it allows abortion providers and anyone who aids or abets in an abortion to be sued while the preliminary injunction is in place retroactively. In other words, if the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court puts this law back into place, anyone who violates it in the meantime, even though it's on hold, could still face a lawsuit. And again, for folks, you know, who haven't been following this, the civil lawsuit provision is what is so nefarious and what gave conservative justices cover to allow this law to go into effect. That is, that instead of being enforced by the state of Texas, this law is enforced by private citizens who can sue anyone who helps someone get an abortion for $10,000.
I mean, and just to elaborate on that for people to understand, it could be the taxi driver who brings a person to a women's health clinic to get an abortion. It could be the anti-abortion activist outside who takes down the license plate, finds out who that is, and sues for $10,000. It could be a person in another state who has nothing to do with this, who sues, for example, as happened, the Texas doctor who gave an abortion to a person.
It could be a disbarred attorney in another state under house arrest, who I believe was the first person to sue Dr. Alan Braid when he openly violated the law in Texas. So yes, I mean, that is the sort of bounty hunter provision of this. But I mean, the effect has been a near total ban, which is a lot less, you know, creative and exciting and much more sort of transparently the goal of anti-abortion forces all along was to cut off access to abortion in Texas. And we saw this happen in the state previously last year during the pandemic, the sort of height of the pandemic in March and April of 2020. Governor Greg Abbott tried to ban abortion as a non-essential service. And just like Senate Bill 8, that measure wound its way through the courts. Access flipped off and on 8 times. You had clinic staff coming out into the waiting room telling patients who had been sitting there waiting for their procedures, sorry, we just heard that the court ruled against us and you're going to have to go home and we'll call you if we can see you again. You had this sort of back and forth going on. We could see that start to play out again in Texas because immediately this decision in favor of abortion rights has already been appealed to the Fifth Circuit. And of course, the end of the line is the Supreme Court. And I think one of the most significant things about this Texas law is that the Supreme Court showed their hand. They showed that they are ready to allow a near total ban on abortion to go into effect in a state where 1 in 10 women of reproductive age and an untold number of trans and non-binary people capable of getting pregnant live. And we've seen the, you know, human rights consequences, the heartbreaking human rights consequences of that over the past month.
Finally, Amy, before we go, you wrote this piece in The Nation. This is what the first hours of a near total ban on abortion look like. And you talk about a woman named Anna. Can you end by telling us her story?
So, Amy, one thing I learned when I worked for you is always to try to end on a note of hope. And so over the weekend, I traveled to to Washington, D.C. for the Rally for Abortion Justice. And this was hosted by the Women's March. The numbers were nowhere near what they were in 2017. 500,000 people in DC, and you practically couldn't move. There were about 20,000 people in DC. There were another 660 rallies around the country for abortion rights taking place during this Texas emergency. But what I really saw emerge, even though the numbers were relatively small, is I saw a new generation of leaders who have been shaped by the cruelty of incrementalism, the cruelty of one law after another, after another, after another in states like Texas. And I saw a woman named Anna, who's now 21 years old, speak from the stage. She tried to get access to hormonal contraception in Texas the month that she turned 17, but she couldn't get it because, you may not know, Texas actually requires parental permission for teenagers to get abortion, not just abortion, but access to contraception. So she couldn't get birth control. She was having sex and a condom broke. And so she went to get the store wouldn't sell it to her, even though legally it's supposed to be available over the counter to people of all ages. And there are protections for anyone who wants to deny someone access to Plan B